Suni amani hunui. Ah, yeah.
Yesu bepuwe amani ninara tuwejo. Usuni amani hunui.
Ampo. Ah.
Yesu bepuwe amani ninara tuwejo.
Ampa debi riboa. Ampa debi riboa. Yesu beba, Yesu beba, Yesu beba. Ambara debi riboa. Debi Yesu bepuwe wo riboa. Yesu beba bio. Ah we. Debi riboa. Yeah, debi riboa. Ampa debi riboa. Yesu beba, Yesu beba, Yesu beba. Debi riba. Yeah, Yesu beba bio beba de makofie. Weni meni daso. Enena ye hunu ya enena ye ti lisuo. Arewana no aye dino. Enena ye hunu nyonyo. Ye besie ni pro ye mu. Asobe sorry when you nyamo. Ye dinisio ne besie no. Odi sirie be sorry debi ah. Ye besie no ya. Asobe sorry when you nyamo. Eyampo Yesu bepu ya. Enena ye hunu nyonyo. Enede ye ti lisuo. Arewana no aye dino enena ye hunu ya. Ye besie ni pro ye mu. Asobe sorry when you nyamo. Dinisio ne besie no. Odi sirie be sorry debi ha. Ye besie no ya. Asobe sorry when ni jemo. Eyampa Yesu bepuwe amaye hawi tuwetu.
Eti munyedi oh munyedi. Munyeko mufa musanso manuda. Baby ribo. Yesu bepuwe amaye hawi tuwetu. Eti munyedi oh munyedi. Munyeko mufa musanso manuda. Baby ribo. Yesu bepuwe amaye hawi tuwetu.
Yesu na neseye mbo yeyini na neseye bose. Orikwa kusi yesi na bia pebia manemma. Bisi adebi riba Yesu beti mu wasoro se. Musionka sasi tamena nyina bebuwe. Sikampo anore ebesensha dofunyi na biwa. Sikampo anore ebesensha nyanumi biyo. Dano yenka oswibio arewo nyina bekwa ewiye. Mama jidi Yesu bepuwa
Amaye hawi tuwejo.
Yesu na neseye mo yeyini na neseye mo se. Ye akosi yesi na biebi amani moa. Besi adebi ribo Yesu beti mu wasoro se. Musionka sasi tamuna nyina bebuwe. Sikampo anore ebesensha dofu ebi wate. Sikampo anore ebetudume yerade aye. Dano yenka usubio owenyi na bekweriye. Eyampa Yesu beba. Ampa debi riboa hawe etu obejo. Ampa etu obejo. Yesu bo ampa roa. Yeah, Mama Yesu bebo. Yesu mensu biwati. Mama jidi na debi riboa. Yeah, debi riboa. Hawe etu obejo debi ampa. Yesu bebebyo. Yeah, debi riboa. Yesu bebo befa ni menyina. Bejidi tijidiwa. Yeah, debi riboa. Yeah, debi riboa. Yeah, debi riboa. Ah, debi riboa. Mama nyakwa brano masi debi riboa.
Amaye hawi tuwejo.
Adiachi.
Nesi obiara limo na se bebiso. Ijanya kuponko alini.
Adiachi. Ampa adiachi. Enyina na yadasorio. Ah, ijanya kuponko alini. Adiachi mama. Ampa adiachi. Adiachi. Ah, tinamidi ya mesi. Misumidachi, yeah, Misumidachi.
Media Missumeri,
Mama Yesu Yadachi, what? Mama Yesu Yario, say baby, ah.
Missumeri,
Mama Yesu Yadachi, what? Mama Yesu Yario, ah.
Missumeri,
Ampa diachio, Yenina na diachi, na say baby padre, Mama Yanku Ponko Adenim. Ampa diachio, Yenina na diachi, say baby, Mama Yanku Ponko Adenim. That the Unkwana Wunimudia, with the Mewasha so, Abra Bonina won't some, Miquanina so won't some. At the Unkwana Wunimudia, with the Mewasha so, I am Abra Bonina won't some, Miquanina so won't some. He says, say very party. One any more say very, ready. Unkwana Wunim. Inti debia masemuni ana pebia mijumi baby so mary yo oh
Missumeri,
mama Yesu yadachi wati Yesu yari yo
Media Missumeri,
obia sora na pahima wakrasa opava ye obesa bedrufi asemi yanku ponko anenim obia sora na pahima wakrasa opava obesa bedrufi asemi yanku ponko anenim eti Peter can send me sister Peter can send me wine chain na yenko daddy wine chain na yenko unawo wadan kwasem say baby so daddy ukwa ne woni gifti e besi mi senyo ai baby mi senya semwe wine anymore mama yakupon kwa anenim nti de bia masemuni ana baby ya meduye biso Missumeri, Mama Yesu Yadachi wati Kristo ni abodua he jaka yo aba
Missumeri,
o Kristo ni abodie mama jadia wewati Yesu dachi suwawi yo o Kristo ni a utumi yaka he ampa jaka yo mama jadon ko yinom na
Media Missumeri,
adaji masiha Yensu Yadachi Yensu.
All right, mema ebusuafo nyina akwaba.
Besimi wa simbisabi. They was simbisabi wati. Bibisati efo nyina bibisati.
Yenyina ye ho etisen.
Tufu braso no. Asemi si tufu braso. Bekaya na ye misu.
Obia ehon tisen.
Na ye misu ye.
Check with your time, 6 minutes after the hour, 8 p.m. 20 o'clock GMT Ghana time. My name is Pastor Bernard. If this is the first time you're watching me, we are live on Facebook and YouTube as well. Remember to like the transmission the moment you join us. All over the world. Ghana ni iwiase amaname nyina so. Ebrasu say ibedi enkomo.
Adiachiyo, ampa adiachiyo, enyina na yadasorio. Ijanya kubongo.
Enti kame ho na yeni enkomo enwumre yi so.
Adiachiyo. Tinamediya mesi. Misumidachi.
Ai misumidachi.
Media Missumeri,
Mama Yesu Yadachi wati.
With me here in the studio.
Say baby,
Missumeri,
Comfort Obukuya.
Mama Yesu Yadachi wati. Mama Yesu Yewiyo.
Enche na yebebo empire na yase yenkomodie no ase. Esan say enra ebri ekutia yi pa. Live on Facebook, Mr. Kofi Owusu Joseph. Mercy Chum is live with me here. In Sharaba Same is live. Vadis Yeboa is live. The Penny Florence Osi and Sa is live here. Wifey Radiadum Meho Eyepa. Also, what is saying? Very party. One any more say Mame and Kunedu and so I join feed no Sabri. Yabebompa and Yase and Komono Ase. We are looking at episode 2 of the Depth series tonight. And it has to do with premature deaths. Eye Atɔfo ababehye inipa bebree fi na atoto amanfo bebree ewo kwantimfi eno nkomo ene eba bedi no edon mu mo amotie no radio no so Real FM nyina no na meka mo se mo bitumi anya kasamfoni no ahwe. Just join the feed on Facebook, Pathway to Heaven Church, and I say on YouTube, Pathway to Heaven International Church. And come on, ye didn't no be one funny any video you say each go ever. Mama Yankupon, him, and see the Bia Massemuni, and a baby, Monsieur, Mama yesu ya dachi wati Kristo ni abodu ya he jaka yeyo asemu o Kristo ni abodu ye mama jadia wewati nasu dachi suwawi yeyo o Kristo ni utumi yaka he ampa jaka yeyi mama jadonko yinom na and come on, Ketinketi a ekemu enrano medie no beshasi na fe mede enwumrei enkomono atoaso. I hope say enya dia meche bebree. If say baby a mede nkomono efree no. Enyememu eda ho a obetumi ache de meka no enwumrei no ase. No wechi no na fe mede directions ni nyina nso egu ho no. Sane be ya. Onipa bia sa mani we bi ebetoro no. Ebesua bibi ede afrim. Otumi agye ne kra no kwa atiasifo asasi so ebia na wi ukra nkwaje adwuma etumi awie no kama obade maye kwan a eye ochina nso mede episode 3 no ebeba eno nso eba behwe ebra okra no efri asasi we so na wewura the astral and subtle realm no ede ben na isi ewo ho no sai na atemu no krampo no ekono na se ka se obi wu no besan be wiase biwa eno nso emu nchirichiri mu ne sai na heaven ne hell na yati wansem ewo Bible no no. What are the revelations about them? The deepest revelation, knowledge about it. A better digestion of the subject. Ebebua ama yinyina yati ye wanse. Na se o wiase we ma wetumi abobra papa. Na se kobane se wonso uwatwede na oba konfro no. Okofobia wetumi ehuni obeka. Osofo ofori ata takrade enso ajoni feed no sisia. Remember to like the transmission, and as soon as we're done, you share for us. Obrego yo dadia, obrego yo. Ebi amasemonyi na se obrego ye ntino. Dadi mami yo kudro home. Mami yo kudro home. Juro mi din so. I won't come anymore. Daddy throw me the won't come anymore. Vera Mankwa is joining the feed right now. Mavis Blankson is also joining the feed. Nana will see. If you bessie me send you, I baby me send you some way. Wine anymore, wine anymore. Mama Yakupon, wine him. Inti debia masemuni ana bebia meduye miso
Sumeri, Mama Yesu Yadachi, what Christonia Bodia hair,
upon one and Pem Joyce in so Ababi.
Mama Jadia,
Joycelyn and Pomu to say
you are. O Christonia, Utumiaka hair, Ampa, Dakaye, Mama, don't go in na. Adaji Masiha, Yensu Yadachi, Yensu Yario, Besimi was in Bisabi, there was in Bisabi Wati, to be set here for Nina, maybe set here for Nina, because I go to brass.
All right. Ebusia, Mechiachia Munine Bio, Emamo, Adjo. Menim baby. Ebi awo tie yen free, but send your time na bo obiano me chiachiam. I believe say obia ehwo ye ebesi etrase na yabompa ye ansana yewra yenkomonim enwumri hunu rade enwumri so yeda wase. Se ode yen ko yen na yeso na ewie moti ye o ma wo han fefe no hire wo yeso ye dwumedi ahodo adamu ni nyina ye di no ewia akwakoto em ye di dwumedi ni nyina benewie asomdwe mu wo mo a edi ahyemu afusane atrentwi ye nte boni ihu boni Yesi no umma hwe emeka ho a na de ka ne se yeda wase.
Amen.
Enye nipa nyina na ekọ esan babiu. Enema bi wo a esan se yintua ho kenti no. Ye hyeda emu esomfa so die. Nanso ye de yagitumu se ade bi a ode amaye kwa no. De be free ensa no ewiya no no. Enunti yeda wase.
Amen.
For the gift of life.
Amen.
Yesan eba bididi ye ho nkomo. Onipa eye honhom. Oye honam esan ye okra. Ewiase na eda ho no eniema ye di ye ni hunu no. Ni ye esi wo nachi ye nti ase. Enunti edon yimu. Wa unim adi nyina net nimdie no so obi ebusa wa wode makwa no fa bedom ye ne bie ye ni.
Amen.
Ne ma ye hunhumu ehunumu.
Yes, Lord.
Eniema esi a honam eniwa entumi enhwe no. Bo ne ma ye mu nti ase.
Amen.
Sene be ya yibetumi aboabo ye ho. Ne ye de atwen o ma ye tosomienu no. Anase bebo abo ho ede ama wu abrabo a yebebo nachi.
Jesus.
Yeda wase.
Amen.
Odoba yaso ade munti. Amen.
Amen.
Adiachi, Messi Opia Renimo, Nase Belinso, Israel Kuponquani.
Adiachi, Ampa Adiachi, Enina Nayakasorio, Israel Kuponquani. Adiachi, Mama, Ampa Adiachi, Adiachi, Tinamidia Messi. Misumidachi, yeah, Misumidachi.
Media Missumeri.
Mama Yesu Yadachi, what? Mama Yesu Yario, say baby, ah.
Missumeri.
Mama Yesu Yadachi, what? Mama Yesu Yario, ah.
Missumeri.
Ampa Diachi, Enina Nadiachi.
All right, ebusia yebedi enkomo na enwumre no yehwe atɔfo premature death. Just a quick recap. Yishia enrano yeshe the process of death, how we eventually pass on to life eternity. Na ihunu se wo infiti prekope na eba sɛdeɛ awo infiti prekope na eba no. Yɛn ni ehunu sɛ ɛyɛ dakoro ɛna yɛde wo obi, but awo no ɛhyɛ 9 months and ɛtɔ da bi kura 9.5 months. That means ɔpɛmfoɔ no benya 36 to about 38-40 weeks. Na watumi ede adeɛ no ɛhyɛ de dada no apie wiase mu one day. So that one day experience, is not the totality of birth. Birth began the day fertilization took place. Sa ena owu nso, it's a process. Even though it takes few seconds or minutes for a doctor to declare somebody dead, death a process, a stages. And until a person goes through all the stages, yen ye beka no wiase am se nipa no wawu. And so no sunsum na ote ase. Enti we learned extensively and say the only time the death process becomes complete and they say the body will be cremated or discarded. And they say all the 5 elements na nyankopon ediye unipano. Ninyina after the disconnection of the cervical or the astral cord no. Ninyina ebesasiye efredi one by one. Yesue unso nipa biya no. 5 elements out of the 8 fundamental elements on nyankopon di yi wiase no. Ena odeye yen. So we are made up of air. We are made up of water, we are made up of fire, we are made up of earth, and we are made up of ether. Eye nieme num. Sa nieme num we esese ni nyina joining the totality of the universe. Ansa na yetumi akase obi ewu ampa. Enti sɛdeɛ mikyirikyiri mu no safei ɛna wabadwumadie no so. Na unim baby and common free buyer. On the dev series, and I want you to go back and take the episode 1. Nefa addition chassis free obra. Na enyumri ye kasa ediafa Atɔfo yenche bebre. Because most of the concept, we got it yesterday. Echi ye kase obi ewu Atɔfo wa eye uwu ben no esese yichirim na sa uwu no kwan ben na efa so a eba esese yichirim na sese nipa ni wu ewie a eden na ewechira esese yeye esan se ba no natural death. Eye nipano o follow the natural discourse in wuya. Nisiye, neyi, ni bibia e follow the natural discourse, e follow the natural process. But everything changes. Sekoye Atɔfo bibia esesa. En sesa ewo hu nyina no esese minu yeti asiye. If we say there are some common mistakes and mfumsuobia ye ewasasi so. There were many dead bodies and many departed persons for the natural discourse so enwu. Omu wunu beye Atɔfo they come back to haunt us and destroy us in the course of time. Ebembe no amamani hunu no ebisayen. Isa se omu wu no yante asie enti akane no tetimre mu pa no se obi wu a the first thing na omu ye ne say they want to find out the cause of death adekodia ema nipa ne wu yi esese omu hwehwem enchi sa obehwa sabre no na yefre bibi samanfre eye necromancy nipa na wawu no yekofre ne saman ne yahwehwem yepesi yehu de ede ne ko ne nkra echi se eyonoa ni wu no de ko ya ni akugya ne kwan boko se onye onoa ni wu ne mu bibi ne pia ne tikoma ne kontem earlier than nebra ye wa mamre ne amane bibiri wo ha na tetimre mu no ye nananom eya enne emranche ne mabawa ene under 17 squad ye black starlet for no matusani mani nyina egu I believe say e kan hu bi na edi yenya papa enji mesre mu say enkoma yedi na nwumre nso no yebenya adaje na yetie ni yi na before me beba studio no yenua baba ko di video bi send me WhatsApp. I think it barely escaped me. Na mepese sa video no briefly yebeshe. I want us to watch that video briefly. Na yentua yenkomo no so. Where your friend is saying just by the side. Enonka just by the side. On him say WhatsApp we na ya na ewo we nti no ye behwe na okay metumi a perfecting wa ha okay enti yenhwe sa video we na
yen menkani me maame owo me oka bibi che se kwabra men sana me se maame wo se se oba yare na anoa menkani a ya asensene a ye fra na kaw wo noa de nchiri ko na de ma no na se wa ani a akwara no kwa yare sabia nche se akwara no kwa hwe obi aya duane akokohwedie edi ahoɔden wom menkani ya fra na kaw no a ne yempanimfo yedi ahoɔden wom enne mo jadi eto body a yafufu no to anase menkan ye de kokwa atumu na abo bi kura ho fa na pra etim ne honam no ne etim toto ni hunu bi ne ye de atum ne atwi amani pa na hoɔden ye jadi fufuo a yawo ne ye de body ne menkan afra ne aye nkontomre nkwan ene sase ene koto ene nwa ne ye di ena nanom di ye nya hoto ne wa prapransa aduane papa ne wonuhu Utiminna, Cocacha so antiminna. Didn't who there? Would you hear na utonko? A diana papa any dear. And so ne, the sea and pet. Fried rice, and moi, yanwa asachi. Near the ammo buswa, and then go for ye. Bibi the endomy. Dear Ben endomy, if any of a cosiburo ni, and or the abrawo. Can you dear by a dear and tomatoes, you and toast, your friend and inchimoro at Santa Casan? An inchimoro, you dear. And if you free near Tiedi, oh, papa, is one hour to the eternity. And net tomatoes in us and enchimoro abba, must he be the possibility? I can't for more the fertilizer and any puso. Would be a na de drugos on ambre. Oh, potosivo meeting in pepe na attention. Nya doa, a siwa, oh, potosivo, na adanisable. It was done to say. Tiania, the F, Yakosibo near chi, and a pay dear my home. As it's a yadia bebani diabetes in a stroke, we can in a bini ho. As an am saying, you are a papantino. Well, Shamati, it's in ye pa. Now, none more biane, could be. Name me check. Nija, more bro for some. Make all a pass, some copedia near made one crime. You could do now or tofu are near Baba webbing at one woody. Fufu are worthy or the actually near Chicha. Yams will rape pa Sankame Benoit. Now so ja obi de hye na mhwe nse yam se we nkam tente we jimi nkwa jimi we as any hwan nefa di ukuma so China fo a o matumpon China broni wo mo ba ha be say gold o tutu gold di ko mo ma mo free no no mkunkunkun ya fa ja pade e ko no China ni wa tere wa ho enso de aba ne didi aba no no de tsabi ni kuro mama mre wo de wo ja wo de ho won safa de fufu a wo se de wo de atente fufu wo fere ne fa why you that wo job bas ti mom yen san kofa ye nanom eja pade a ndi ja ye no ni yen hwe so ma no sesa se ye nyankwa se yade no adoso no se ebe doso se bie wa ni nyina be fire ho ne mwenyae ene ma efiri nkrofo ma so a omde abedada ye no na yen trase na yen kwada no so meto aso ni wo mso nyankwa no nyine nche na yen hwehwe ye de onyame pe ye nyankopon pe na ode amayen ti mum ye ni ye de so yen to amano ne de ni nyina angu
Wow.
Okay, so I got this video from one of the sisters, and so I decided to let all of us listen to it. Na Ochinebino will be Drew Ghana, and I say, Uba Ghana na wokwa na wakwa pepe menke to one be. And okwa akaoni nyina wana di zumi asini bi atwim. Na eja wari ape obebi aiden atsina. Mema mami Felicia Kufuo Akwaba watching live on Facebook. Afi yankomo no ye share asiye na yedi edi free ho. Di kan ediene atɔfo. Se yeka se ɔtɔfo a eye uwu ben. There were two kinds of death. The natural one and then the bizarre death. Ye friend ɔtɔfo. I do not really want to use premature death, even though it is descriptive of the situation. Even though descriptive of Uwono, because there are people who also die out of Uwo, but omonye premature. Ye ka premature, a sudden they dying early in age. Nese nipa no, unyini. You know, send a life expectancy. Yesheni mu say, ubinyi edru nipa ni nyini sa, ena wewu, enoni ye premature. At the same time, unsu yebetumi enya obi a wedi mfie bese ediokron. Ono nso ni wu no enye natural. But esa say ono no wenyi ni nti no, we mostly do not call it premature death. Echi ni ye maba wane mrantie no ena ye friend of premature death to denote in say atɔfo nanso entisa. Entina ya na I find it quite difficult say me use premature death as a literal or the intended word for atɔfo. Echi mekan wo yen kasem num se ne be ya obeti ese because openi etumi wu atɔfo. Akwada nso etumi wu atɔfo. Yewo owu preko. Eno na probably English in be kind of premature death no. Now say ye ka otɔfo wu a eye wu a involve the invocation of the 5 elements that allows anybody to live on earth. Yesterday we did talk about these 5 elements. And on the wall screen also no. You will say unipe biyano, you are made up of 5 elements. And yeme num and the kambuma unyankopon ediye unipa. The dekan otete a form dotie ena ode enwini odaseni. Eno eye earth asase no. So asase ewo unipe sumu. Eti asase no sa o hwehwe no a onene body no a unipe free mu a ye koto twene ana ye se no na asan aba bedane dotie. Eno ne asase no. Afei so ensuo ewo mu. A doctors fo nyina ekire say unipe bia no you must drink enough water because your body will require about 75 to 80% of water. Send your baby or blood flow, any your friend is saying oxygen circulation, a bit to me, I go on smoothly. You know, say out of the 100% water in your system, no, when only your eyes use about 60% of that water. It when in it down at the consume, yes. It anybody that fails to drink enough water, you will have problem on earth. You can stay without food, but you cannot live without water. Adintia, water is life. It tells you say water is an element that was used in the creation of man, just as it was used in the creation of the universe. Enti asasia yetisui asie ni insuo nkoa out of insuo ena onyankopon de asase ne beto wo. Enti asase ni insuo no ena onyankopon de ka ho eye onipa ebiewu efiti ase no emframa enso wo ho echi erade ehume nkwa hume eye the breath of air edigo yemu ena ebeye okra ti asefo. So air is also part of the human composition. And then we have fire, eye ija. Sa ija na ewu mu no, eno ne ma onipa utumi maintaining body temperature. Yewo emoa bibiri wo a ewu nsuom. We call them cold-blooded animals. But human beings are warm-blooded animals. And anytime you take the thermometer, which me show much no body temperature, which must measure 37 degrees Celsius. All other things being equal. And you say you will say o temperature no drop here, net drop it, and you are getting colder. It means you are dying. And doctors will have to do everything to make sure say your temperature is normalized. And then we also have ether in us. Eno ena eboa yen ema yemudro no yetumi esum. Mechirichiri mu say obi wo wa weigh 56 kg, obi wo wa weigh 60 kg. Se okotam ade bi a ne mudro no ti sa de man say onfa nante asase so a ebeye very difficult say ode be nante asase so. However, say nipa na weigh sa weight no utumi di nanti, utumi di tumrika, utumi di ye bibia, bibi ewo mu a eboa the force of gravity etumi ye adwuma. Therefore you are able to carry yourself about. And that is the ether. Eti enema num ena onyankopon ekakabo mu a odi ye nipa. So out of the 8 fundamental elements, 5 of them compose men. Now, these 5 no, eno ne mayen survivability, eno ne mayen tumitina iwiasi we me patuti nkomoni yi, eno ne mayen tumitina iwiasi we mu. It is for anybody to be able to live in this world, you need all these 5. Na iwiasi no nyankopon ahyehye mmara, eye natural laws e dia bindi iwiasi no. These natural laws no have been set in motion. Senya beya adiebi a obeye wasasi so to disrupt the activities of the universe. No, you will be paid back in your own coin. It is also Galatians chapter number 6, verse the number 7. Now, for Bible na yenken kan aseme wo. Chi ni say mamo na adamu onyankopon yinsi na twetwe. Na aba onipe guno enwa ena ucha se comfort be English no be to me akinkan amaya. That would also tell you say do not be deceived, for God is not mocked. Whatsoever a man soweth, the same he shall reap. It is a matter of fact onyankopon sa samna onam osumafo Paul so ekan no. It tells you say we have the law of karma. Say adie bia when you take a ball and you throw it at a wall, it bounces back to you. Adeɛ biara obeye no, there are causes and effects. Oya adeɛ na there will be a result or an equivalent action responding to what you did. And so enone emra onyankopon ede asese ni wiase. Echi wiase ni ewo mu no. So we mransem du na ode odo ena akabom. The first four no you love God, and the last 6 no you love neighbor. But this I say onyankopon in this physical realm. Na odia many penti the last 6 no e bindi all of us. Na all the elements na it make us together no. And one na air control if we. You know, if you want to understand if we you really have to delve deeper into the study of a near elements no nyankopon di wiase no. Elements no and now be wiase we now be hunu a ebema wa ye. And there is a very serious lesson I will be doing. On se mechiremo addition be I think Abraham the 9 planets, mechiremo the 9 planets and the 6 senses. And then there is one major lesson I will add to it for a man to break through. When you get to understand the element of water, the element of fire, the element of ether, the element of the earth, element of air, Sanyema and 9, especially the 4 major elements now, a year embodied in the totality of the universe, a year earth, air, water, and fire. There are ways to work around them. A bit me, Amawa break it through. Without working on them, I'm telling you, it will be very difficult. It's in America say, if you think you have heard enough, wait until I'm done with my mission here on earth. And then you will discover so much for yourself. Enti ebano atɔfo no eye uwa nipa no one onye prepared say obefisi death. Nipa na saa de ne beto no onye prepared say obefisi death. Onye krado say obewu. 2 esan say onye krado say obewu nti no. Se wo free asasi so ha eniamono sanwa ni so no enti asie se asasi no beja hwako na eno no eyensem bebre echi duabɔ a ema atɔfo eba no ene se obi de eniema enum no a onyankopɔn de yi nipa no or invoking them against you. And now you can say invoking them against you or somehow ediama san yemenum noa e ye onipa no eno ne freno atɔfo iti atɔfo bia no eye nsaman ye saman woma eniemenum no these 5 elements no ye saman woma san yemenum wi. And the moment it is any yasamai will be samansie biano will involve legalities. That means you become rem yadoba kujina asimdibia yibidi wasem so difa na yede asotwe out esefata wa yede amaw sa pepepe ena atɔfo bia etie atɔfo bia no yesama ma san niema enumi mu bia yebetumi asama wa ma yisu yebetumi asama wa ma asase yebetumi asama wa ma mframa yebetumi asama wa ma ewiem a eye ether no yebetumi asama wa ede ama eja se yesama wa ma sane ma wiya sede ensamansie ba yede ukogina court ni di wasem no all the elements will come together, sit on the matter because they are within you. Eti boni bia okudi ye no se ohome mframa na okudi enti mframa wo na wo ye boni bia okudi ye no se eja wo mu there is fire in you And so I don't understand why sometimes people will play with fire. You know, fire is a good servant. But if you are not careful, it will destroy you. There are so many useful purposes for ECOCGHAC. But ECOCGHAC no se wan hwe ya ECOCGHAC no ade ebe yo wiase we mu no. Then again, ebra wo kwa koye boni bi a okoye no. Utimi hwe benku hwe nifa, wan pija wani ahwe wiem. Ure fi say lightning, thunder, ether, and so wo. That also controls the space. It is if gravitational force is able to act on you, bibi ewu mu a ema the force of gravity. Etimi ye adwuma entino when pija wani ahwe wiem dia and na meka kiro say okoya de and there was ether in you. Afei boni kwa okudu ye ne say asase so na onanche na okoyi. Ai etina asase nso wo ho. Asase nso say the nsuo so when afei nsuo so wo mu. Eni say otina se dwin wudi a atɔfo wo bia no. Eye samaya ye sama ma eniema na etumi ma otina asase so no. Eti saa niema na eboa ama watena asase so no. Saa niema no ba be work against you because ubi afa kwan bi so asama wa masaa niema no. And let me tell you, each one of them is so powerful, say, even the mere enchantment and our voice, incantation, and semua, ubi bebie na no akano, nipa no unhia kusuya, unhia snap, and sana wachimia sama wa masani manu. The yani se obebo udi amensing your offense. Na weja wama sani manu. And they will sit down, judge the matter. Esunsumu asem na afi asotwia ewo ho no omo de amahu. Na de etie ne se omasotwi ni bia no eno na ye bɔ ne tofa ye frɛ ni duabɔ. Omasotwi no enye enome de ebesɛw ifiri ɔbɔ ade ya wenkyɛn na ye den eba. But ne control ewiase wi eniema e control wiase wi a wo timu no. Sani amane se omo twenwaso a eno ne efre no duabɔ. Eno na se wo fam a ni aba be frɛ no atɔfo. Enti obi a obewu ka akwanhyia bia eye duabɔ.
Sure.
Asɛm na meka no tie mi yi. Sɛde onyankopɔn hyehyɛ sɛ onipa mfiri asase so no. Wansi sɛ ɔtɔfo wu amfa mo nipa. No. So we are Revelation 6 verses 7 and 8 no a. Eye atɔfo ene wo ho. Sa atɔfo no wo because people have sinned against God. Eti nyankopɔn etumi invoke ewiase no against enipa now. Ma memfa nkɔ Bible num na menkyerɛ wade. Anytime God calls these elements against us. For Bible no odifo Isaiah. Check chapter 1 no. For chapter 1 no. Isaiah chapter number 1. Nessa see free verse the number 1. Nefabra verse the number 2. 2 na menkyerɛw ade ɛwɔ hɔ. Making kan twi no ansa na Yakob poto kasa no. To bo ase ne di me nkomo ye chi na obɛkye de me kyerɛ na se. Amos ba Isaiah ani so ade a ohunu no Juda ene Jerusalem ho. Eye Juda ahemfo Uzia, Yotam, Ahaz, ni Ezekiah enanumu. Verse 2. O osoro muntie. O asase ye aso na Awurade akasa. Mayen emma ama wanyini. Na mama wonso. Na won die wabɔ me soko. Now read the English, verse 2 no kind or say.
Hear, O heavens.
Hear, O heavens.
And give
Wafre the heavens osoro. Wafre osoro.
Sure.
Na saa osoro na Nyankopon efre no. What do you think God is doing? God is invoking witness. He's invoking either against you.
Sure.
Osoro hono enianom eye nsem bebree ko.
Hear, O heavens,
and
give ears, O earth.
And give ears, O earth, wafre asase.
For the Lord has spoken.
Onyankopon akasa echi. Look at this. Anytime God calls upon the earth, enye just asase enofre. Insuo ka ho, emframa ka ho. Yi. Ena wasan frɛ your friend is saying osoro no nso either eyeden ewo ho ena ija nso yeden ewo ho. Ija was asase no the sun in the skies. Eno ene the burning sensation in the light ema osramon. Enti se wo frɛ osoro a two elements, fire and ether.
Sure.
Ofre asasia three elements, water, earth, and air.
Sure.
It's the moment God calls upon the heavens and the earth. It's will afraid the five elements against you.
Okay.
And that is Duabɔ. It is a woba Numbers chapter number 23. Numbers chapter number 23. For Bible no na yeni enkomo yi. Numbers 23. Na ehwe verse the number 8 tie ne okan. Ebeye den ena medomedie onyankopon ennome no. Dese enu firi nyankopon ho ena eba case. Na ebeye den na mebodie Ewurade mo ni dua no dua. Eji say obi busa say na Nyankopon so obodua. Yes. Anytime you will meet a scripture or a verse where the heavens and the earth are called upon before man, most abreso or say ofre osoro ni asase emedi adansie. Joshua ofre osoro ni asase emedi adansie. It's when the heavens and the earth are called upon. Duabɔ.
Shall I go?
Read the English. Or saying,
how can I curse whom has not been cursed? How can I denounce whom the Lord has not denounced?
Okay. Enti say Nyankopon mo bi dua. Ebeye den na onipa da senia twimi abodua. Enti ade ba ko esese oti ase ni say. Bible no a eda wo na ye Nyankopon asem no. The moral etiquette and conduct of your behavior. Anytime you go contrary to the word of God, already God has invoked the heavens and the earth. Sure. And when God invokes the heavens, fire and ether. When he invokes the earth, air, earth and water. It is you, the individual.
Okay.
Therefore, you are under Duabɔ. Enti se okwabrani bie nano na odi woma insiu because antwenyama insiu. Sure. Akono de kosum eye dotie eti bosom no ebi ye dotie. Me twa agency bibi so bi bebo odi otumi di ukobusumfie no abodua. Busumfie no most often than not oba koto dotie say si ho eye et no di bodua or sama wa masase oba ko obi tumi frɛ agrada ana ayirem osim asama odi atumi su yi se ayirem dwa ensi wo mu enuanom nipa no I invoke the heavens against you. I didn't know I invoke the heavens against you because we in nipa was as no. Deep down within us, our spirit in him say, the word of God now, the moral conduct or the moral fabric of our lifestyles, was as no. The word of God, no. Anytime you sin against your neighbor, and now within the soul and the spirit of man, when himself God has already called the heavens and the earth to bear witness of asama waka say ewiase we na wom no unua ade ayede ye wa enye ode no emfa nye no
Sure.
Ejiso bi busa say ade na oye Kristo ni na yabo ni dua na enya no a donjo e Kristofo kra na duabo no benya mo simple mo Kristofo no mo de duabo no eye atofuo no mo be wu no simple eti ka kwanyisia ACC ni nyina no ya samai sankofo ni nyina amasase eti wonam asase ni so a you are dangerously treading on the earth. Enipa papa na wo se wonye na wo be di bone e de atie nipa bebre no eno ameka nsem bi se oti asase so abomodin se obema wo papa na den adoso sane ebeya to a large extent no benya bible and protection.
Sure.
But why you wadwen say ne entine nko a ene niema eya nko a na obeye tie unua echi sawoye boni etia unua na osama woma insua. Already the Bible has approved side diabono because in this material world yemfa adwemboni enchena so nyame anye wiase ne say yemfa adwemboni mechirem na yemedidi ye ho yenhu awu nyame am prepare wiase ne sa eye odasani ene de sa de ba enti even before you were made the word had already taken care of that. Eti nyame wayi solid diabono wo ewiem wayi solid wo nsiom wayi solid wo asasidim wayi solid wo mframem wayi solid dida.
Okay.
But you said they make what they say. Eti emane nya wadwen say atofuo no eyade bi a kire so da bi. Atofuo no eye the 5 elements that come together to work against your life. That is what we call atofuo. Eti se wonim say yabo udua a simple understanding and it say enumere unya. The simple understanding say issue is working against you. Adentia you drink water and yasama wa means you we fu be say onase betatai yare bia obeya ne se ne ye no doctor fidie bie no ana hospital fidie bie no a ebetumi dictate ne eye o enso wa unim say o yare bibi is wrong ayeduabo etiaba ne sa ne ma we nyina no instead of helping you to survive they will come against you and you're going to die. John Kennedy Nico at Tigri says, indeed, the heavens and the earth bear witness between us. Thank you, man of God. Yes. It is obligatory to say, what the audio hear me, men count she be jemuma erade. So gaso jemuma radia, and then yankopon eba be chiao. No, Duabɔ.
Sure.
We afraid the heavens against you. So the fire in the sky and the eater in the sky no etumi mau carry weight about the person has invoked it against you. ECOCGHAC me insuo so a we afraid say because insuo cannot go without the earth. Eventually all the 5 elements come together and these 5 elements are within you. So how can you survive? And there is nothing your friend at the hospital drew ye bompaye ye we sanya mani nyina enye juma masa meka bibi dia kyerɛw say ye board ya now so be bompaye e dia breakia e jimi no wajimi because onyankopon asset this world in motion and running on some principles, and these principles once you break them nature will take its course. It's Duabɔ Atɔfo a nature and they punish people here on earth. So papa, you are within the domain of this earth, and yet you don't want to follow the rules of engagement. It was as we so. Duabɔ no benya ebeka, and no hospital doing a bit to me baby. Ebani sanwa ajise unim how to bring back all these 5 elements. Entina direction na mention no a very important say ubetie nie because there are 2 sides of the direction. These elements na working against you, the heavens and the earth working against you. It is obetumi adani dua no a You don't go to that fetish priest because Dotier and the earth is working against you. How can you go to the fetish priest? Only Mwebia de Boao. Said the maker what they say. You are rather going to worsen your situation. And as Obe Radin Chainswa, when Yangupo himself was setting some rules of engagement, air control, yes, you only have to understand how these elements can be brought back together. Now, what are these elements? Okay. The first step they say nipa na oye no boni normally your man call say go and apologize. Kone kopa ne chew. Opa ne chew na ojemu maneka. Now the same elements na a bar together. Yes, sama omanwa sell na eyi we free as because elements na making your being. If you are not wanted here because of how you are living your life, they will end you. They will all leave one by one. And that is when the decision is made. And when that decision is made by all the elements within you, Frama, Ija, Ita, Asasi, Eisio, Senina, Kabom, Nejitum, se Ampa, Wo, Ewiasi, Wena, Obetsine Mono, Adia, Ewiasini, Yenye Wom, na Woye, it is yet one brain, ye be you free ha. So Munina, Kabom, say, Friano Mokwa. And no one son are messengers of death, no maba.
Okay.
It won't say any but the messengers of death, no. They don't come 7 days to your death. They come the very day all the 5 elements are invoked against you. And only so yeah, and that natural death. Any sa Atɔfo ENT'L. Ti assembly the American say asase. Eisio, Frama, Ewiem, Eja, Sanyemenum we a kabum. Na the conclusion, the metaphysical or the subtle realm. Yes, Susumuya say, let me use that. Susumuya is a subtle realm, okay? That out of these earth peripheral, if these 5 elements say there is a complete understanding and conclusion say, whoa. Who said the power? As I say now, Basono, and Niema Ensesabuye, and Nona Woye against your fellow human beings. It means that you are doing something wrong against air. You are doing something wrong against earth. You're doing something wrong against fire. You're doing the wrong thing against water. When they decide to exit you, so that minute, messengers of death, Yamaduches, then they come close to you. And Omudiuchini say, they are going to make sure you exit this world. Until say you have rectified a niema ya a ma elements we a gange up against you no. A drobien wa yadekawa ebeye juma. A drobien wa benuma ebeye juma. And yes, a drone in any juma. I didn't know be to me a course or quaco than Duabɔ. Or bed done in a set day and so still nipani biwu. Say you have not pleaded enough. You have not been able to appease the elements no in making no. And to be able to appease the element, you need somebody with a higher spirituality and somebody with a perfect understanding of how the elements operate. Obey to me assemble all the elements together. In the direction no amedebe no. A bit follow the diagram or the image of this. One say the master say your friend is saying elements or the 5 elements, you know. Yeah. You can see that you can have a square with something in the middle. Yeah. So okay, say draw. One say the master say no. It is somebody must have a perfect understanding of how to bring all the elements together at one place. And sana what you mean reverse adienwa. And that is number 1. Even if you can reverse it, and say your man who the kodia we ya akofa sa your friend say Atɔfo no ababi jina so. Say man and I'm going to give you the signs because odipa bia you are under Duabɔ no. So person who say owo abenwa you will know. And I'll give you the signs so that you'll be able to check your lives. So obusiani bia yaboni dua. Well, by the grace of God, somehow onyankopon a making provision say memra na memetufu na menkyerɛkyerɛw na wani emra ho so sɛnea ɛbɛyɛ a wobɛtumi agya esapapa atuama ebusia. John Kennedy said the wages of sin is death. Yes, indeed, the wages of sin is death, and Bible made it clear say bɔne ebekum ɔbɔnefoɔ. Evil shall slay the evil. It's as simple as ABC. Eti nyankopɔn wa hye bibia deda. Enya fe na oba beye oba maybe meaty punishment on earth. No. Every punishment on earth here is orchestrated by the elements in you.
Sure.
Masa your friend say enkrobesie. Enya spirit bi na enya nyankopɔn bi na you. I'm telling you say nyankopɔn program wiase ne deda wa hye deda. Enti the world or the earth is in charge of its own affairs.
Sure.
Ma wani mie nema wadwimu mie na hwe wo husuye abrabo mu. Okay, this is for Aisha. Eti me pese oti ase say until you understand the perfect correlation of all these elements that make you know, you're going to die. Eti nipa bebre omatofu wonu ija ene hyehyɛ wom. Ubekone dem na ija tom na wahyehyɛ ejurobɛ enye kwa Duabɔ. It's not a natural death. Accident car kohwiase ne nipa wo mu nyina wu, each one of them yaboni dua yasaman no abrabo bi ne bi eti na ewiase no se wonni huhum eja, you need to get one.
Sure.
I'm telling you, se wonni huhum eja, meka huhum eja, what we call the spiritual fathers, a lot of people have taken for granted, no.
Yeah.
You are joking with your name, maybe. When Yankopon na or ye Yankopon obetumi ayade nyina, but it took your biological father and no do be rasa sisuha or planteo. Ubi drew answer. There are people who are only spiritually inclined, was setting them as watchmen and are watchdogs over your souls. And these are those who have been called by him Yahweh, a software who are true to him. Although some people are parading themselves as men of God. All right. And you may even have somebody who is a spiritual father, but on your sofa, but unimde, unimform, or you're spiritually inclined, the near be the third eye. Somehow you must have somebody who will connect you back to nature, somebody who can connect you back to nature and your maker, because your maker made nature. It's that person will connect you to nature and your maker. That person is your spiritual father. And some people who are terribly arguing say, you need only God. Jesus is our spiritual father. You don't need any. If Jesus is your spiritual father, okay, I guess Jesus should have impregnated Mary and given birth to you. Out of ignorance, people die and people perish.
Sure.
It is very important to understand this. Ka ekobo bi wewu eye nkwinsie wu eye atɔfo wu. Ija asisi nipa no eye nkwinsie wu eye atɔfo wu. Opemfo wakɔ awo so wa ma ne ba ma eye atɔfo wu. Nyankopɔn ansise sɛ oba akɔwu a onkowu. Ɔse obɛte yaw. Eti for whatever reason tia okɔ awo so a wa ma no eye atɔfo wu. And a lot of issues and niema bebre to me kotwetwe atɔfoɔ ni eden eba and ne tofa bomu nyina ne say atɔfoɔ bia no Duabɔ. Duabɔ no asekyire ni nyina ne say the 5 elements na ɛyɛ wo no, they have decided to kick you out of this world because your lifestyle doesn't suggest obi a wire ready say ensise ya ewo asasi sunu obedi so. This is all you need to know about atɔfo. Eti eba ne sase pe, once the process begins, Duabɔ no sase pe, messengers of death, yamaditches no, they will come close to you. Their duty is to make sure say edrobia obenumbia no enye juma because automatically you must leave the planet Earth. So free anauko. You are not wanted anymore. That is the essence of Duabɔ ana Atɔfo. O brain sewing, but you are not wanted. You are not needed here. Here we are seeing. It is say omoma free anum na yeden. Nauko. Because wo yijao setting ha the other baby we are seeing no fasum de yeden emma. It is so omoma yeden echo. It is the messengers of death no will make sure say a drobi at the becano enye juma. Afei onipa bi a ode ne ho bebo no ye the messengers of death need the Duabɔ no be san no. Eti say ye bo bi dua very dangerous, especially say nipa ni wu a de obekɔ ni fu ho de obeso na daka mu de obeye na yi de obeye ne ho ntotoye de obeto na daka de onipa bi ode ne ho beba tasa wu no messages of death omun free somebody ni wu a no ma ba so they will make sure say wo so obekɔ. Nature is very powerful. You must be careful the way you live your life here in this world, because we are saying now medical culture said that software installations are juma, and these applications, you are not the one who installed them, so you cannot delete them and you cannot modify them. You only have to live within the framework of this earth.
Okay.
So yen is hard ya wasumbeju ubetumi etina wiase we mu ache adinchia main ye bo bidua o de wo bono account, because messengers of death no, they are so terrifying, they are so horrible that in fact anybody who has been whom we have invoked the 5 elements against, you are equally in danger as them.
Sure.
KADA Busa said, Papa, please, when someone commits sin, do they sin against God or the elements? And who should we confess our sins to? The elements or God? Sin no ye wonu mienu.
Sure.
Ye was sin against your neighbor, and ye was sin against God.
Sure. When
you sin against God, it dwells on commandments number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4. If you allow dotier or TV or money or your girlfriend or anything to be your God, you have not sinned against your fellow human being.
No.
You have sinned against God.
Yahweh.
So confession goes to him.
Sure.
And sinning against God brings about a curse, a nomen. And anybody who is capable of sinning against God will eventually sin against the brother. Nyangopo, Duabɔ okra wachimi anybody. Na unia, enyo no na ma umframa home, enyo no na ma waduanidi, enyo no na ma wasase nantiso. Ona onye no bone, ndio ma umframa home kura no wa ye no bone. Na ngade wo ma ohwe. But you said the American watch you see. I can see say network no chichi ewo YouTube. Yeah. Say a hamu bibria, you can switch to Facebook because stream now also very normal. And then later I'll be posting the recorded version on the platform, the YouTube channel as well. Me also network no chichi. KAD. When you sin against God, unyankopon ena obepa ne chewo. But when you sin against your neighbor, your brother, James chapter number 5 verse 16 will make you understand. Say, go and seek forgiveness. Kona koka mboni echire unua na waye ne bone no na ode chewa agidifo mompaye na ye nsrema wo. Na se wo kona wamfa nche no say obebo odua, that's the problem. Yes, that's the problem. Mesre, the question you ask, we don't apologize to elements. No way. We don't apologize to the elements. Elements, once they begin to take their course, I'm sorry, you will be punished. Unless somebody who is able, who has a perfect understanding of sending the elements in the year, and bringing all the 5 elements back at one place. Na wachimi a revoke wasasa ana wadane Duabɔ no a ɛda so a Emma wako unkra etiri enti near etienne no. Aisha says, Papa, what if someone died out of heart failure? Is it a natural death or not? Heart failure, no, there were no two types. There were one orchestrated by forces of darkness. Duabɔ bi wɔ hɔ a yɛyɛ ne sɛ wakoma no ɛnte.
Okay.
Then we also have a physical one. Physical ones, doctors will be able to help you at every point or all the way through your medical, process. Doctors ebetumi aboa wo. Say eye physical, eye natural, ebia or lifestyle choices be a make we did a one shini. Most of those lifestyles, ebetumi ama wenya akumayare.
All right.
The physical, no, the doctors betumi ama wadobe say you respond to treatment. You will need pebi owa omo pressure, omo da pressure dru so. Pressure dru no mo nom no eye adwuma ojai pressure dru no mo a na ne BP no san koso. E kire say you are responding to treatment. That means say eye natural, eye physical. Eye wabrabo oneye ase wedidi ne wo lifestyle bi. Ena amana ede abanisa. But akumayare any heart failure, doctors don't even know why your heart has stopped. She said Vivian Dieni Bino. Now we say there is a spiritual attachment, and it comes in the form of attacks. So it comes in the forms of attack. Ladies and gentlemen, you need to understand, say, the heart doesn't stop like that. We have to investigate why the heart was able to stop in that manner. Because many of the heart attacks, a spiritual attack. Sure. Because you bet me about you, it will soon sumu. We bet me the wako edroso or the image ako. It's also yenipa boni funji. Your man is sick and say, image the dash him. Onfasikano and walk or chester. When yadi womb or mirror no more, na count ewo hunemu. Ubewuse makuma team no. There are some a year spiritually orchestrated, and there are some which are naturally or physically orchestrated because of a lifestyle choices via uchisuye. Eti aisa ubisaya die etienono. So to continue with the mainstream discussion, Kyle Quincia eye Atɔfo kyerese eye Duabɔ. Die ija kwese no eye Atɔfo kyerese eye Duabɔ. Yesama omemframa aircraft aeroplane aircraft crash. Ne mu nipa nyina aircraft almost engine failure almost dear ben masa mframa na de woko ode obeba fom. Eye Duabɔ. Natural deaths don't follow that pattern, all right?
All right.
It doesn't matter whether you are old or you are young. Sir, all those accidental, disastrous deaths, no. Eye Duabɔ. Insio afenipa no, insio afano. Me pacho insio fenipa sa eye Duabɔ. I'm telling you, for you to be drowned in a river or any water body, and your corpse will eventually be found at the river banks, eye Duabɔ. Insio enfenipa sa eye Duabɔ. There are so many of such mysterious deaths. So I just say, sir, all these deaths, so when is so say, the 5 elements now amount survivability, the same 5 elements, and they decided to say you are not needed here.
Okay. You
have to leave. See a pamo free hanum, and they begin to work against you. And some of these things, if you want to deal with it yourself, you can't, because you always need somebody who is capable of bringing back the elements together and then making you know where the problem is coming from, rectifying your error, because when you rectify your mistakes or you atone, you try to appease, then we can also revoke and Duabɔ na yetumi afa kunya ne so apamo the messengers of death no e de free hu It is said in America, say ye bo bi dua, ubia or dene hubebo bia yabo ni duano, etuminyao, ni sika or the man udibia ebinyao.
All right.
Say eventually Duabɔ yentumia naninu na uwua body no oku usomwa ube ubi Duabɔ no beka ho wamwa ebefa adaka Duabɔ no beka ho mochiremai Duabɔ no beka agise nipa no nimnie ono beye na Duabɔ no bi anye den anka no de unima obeye ni se ade no adaresi na obeye ana amane na obeye no ebepamo the messengers of death no ayedei every ho sani ebeya wo de unkubi echi se matahwa Duabɔ baako a ye bonu efie bim echimiku papa Duabɔ na echimiku maame echimiku nua Duabɔ baako echimishi efie ho nipa nyina ase ubekɔ fie bim ubia bewu a eyeka akonsia ubia bewu a agese ka abono ubia bewu a agise wasese yetumi samai onipa ma ejaframa eyeja etisa asisi de esi wo cycle ni sei womo a efa mu wuye ni nyina were people who died prematurely omu atɔfo sankofu ni nyina Duabɔ didom so etisa wo ba asɔre as asɔre ayeye no a in fact enipa Duabɔ didom so no nye nipa ketewa e come here say the majority of Christians in Duabɔ edidom so adengina tisa because ye di boni dudu ye di yemim dudu ye nuanom boni too much utumi hwe wo nuanim pa na odi na sim masa nature is watching. You are breathing air and you are doing this. You are walking on the earth and you are doing this. It is a way you see. Nyamesum. No. You don't need to be told to be a good person. Papa. John Kennedy says, Papa, say it again, man of God. Everybody needs a spiritual father to help you out. Say, you really have to be careful the way you live your life, because if we are saying and now kwa and yeme womno emunti asie no enye yi enti se yenya boni pani dua se pe na che se owo no eye oto fuo ewu na che se obi ena wo orchestrated death no wasuma owo bofo ni se onye dey omra wo so enye se wadi wumfia me enye se wa fulfill o purpose de enche nyankopon de oba asase su no wa ye wie da bi unye wie unye nu ba bia but eyobi ena consciously was say de wodi aye no no ensuo no ni wunni ema no emframa na wo home no eni wunni ema no asase na wonam so no eni wunni ema no because ade a wodi aye no no wakum ne kra. And the person consciously and deliberately invokes these elements against you. And once Nipano go through process, ni say boom. Esio bedi asem, asasi bedi asem, wamu nyina bedi asem. Eti punishment, asasi so punishment ni nyina no. Bepacho enye nyankopon eye nyame, but ono wa hyehyɛ ne dida. Eti as a wiase noa et noa na take charge. Eti no mo say aba ugu no enoa na oye dey. Says and the obey no asase we so no asase no will pay you back. Untumi nkudua bro enkutwa menkani.
No.
There be untumi nkudua ayipaya enkutwa agewa ye. Die ugu no enoa na abe dey. Ubetwa. Enti se wo pese unyincha. Make sure say onye adie bia obi consciously obi invokely emframa ana eja ana ita ana se ensio ana asase against you. You must be very careful the way of life you choose. Yen nyina ye bewudie, but you can choose how to die.
Okay.
I'm telling you, death is inevitable, but how you going to die, you can choose it. You can choose to die naturally in peace, or you can choose to die in pieces. So there are two ways. There are some people who rest in peace, but there are others who rest in pieces. One more rest in pieces, RIP no, and you na ye peaceful. There be ye pieces. Just say before oba be no ne kokobo etu efri ne to buy ne kidney essay ne fusay ne obodam, so many things. So you die in pieces. You didn't die as a whole. But one more ewu natural death no odini fie main afi oni ebusiafo dinkra ono awu said now I'm ready to be transitioning. Now oni ebusiafo dinkra afi okoda ade betinyame say come and rest. Na the kra na frinimu okoboko. That is how God intended man to transition from this physical earth. It is a what to say eye niema ebeboa ma watumi nyina che wasase so a duabo no ebi nkan me say e kristofo a aba bibribe a ye nenam wiase we mu ye na yewu atofo no adentia because emim ne doso o de monhwe politicians, how are some of them die? O de monhwe footballers, look at people, most leaders, even asofoni bebre afedi omuwu atofo adentia because eniema no amodi ye nipa ma asase so no eni ya eti asase ji wotena ha enye ye omma wo brenso obeyi wafri ha ensio ji wotena ha omma wo brenso obeyi wafri ha because ontumi menum nsio ensam fa nsio medi bone ema ne nye ye ono ama wo nkwa. Water is life, air is life. Omo ma nkwa ni wi a na adebone na wo ye wo wiase wem masa they will evict you. Ombi we free wiase wem. Eti duabo no eno ane the 5 elements. If you don't know, I'm telling you. Duabo eno ane the 5 elements. Enti the peaceful way to live in this earth ni say whatever yesu my principle no adia yede ye wa enye ode no emfa nye dey. Love your neighbor as yourself. This is the prevention of duabo. Love your neighbor as yourself. Kennedy said this subject is timely and that we need to call our loved ones to join us. That's very true. Remember to like and share. Mo amutie no radio so no abomodia ama wunua no mo a etie no so omo entie no aba be join friend so metie nkomo na ekoso wo radio no so Real FM 97.1 live ewo afi mami Eva enso ajoin menya message from Emily. Emily sending message, I think, on Telegram. Or say, does it mean Pastor Miles Monroe and the wife were cursed by these elements? Let me answer this question. I don't know what they did or what went wrong. But as a society, as you say, for anybody to die unprepared, sa atɔfo no duabo bia koso baby.
Okay.
You see, somebody may raise the issues of the martyrs. Yesu esuafo na ye kunkum wo no. None of them omu wu ni nyatofo. Yesu esuafo no omu wu ne nyatofo.
Okay.
Adentia, because they already knew say once you take on the cross, you have taken on death. It's already they are prepared to die. That was persecution.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay.
That was what? Persecution. There may be many reasons why Pastor Miles Muru omoplenu inya, enkwenshiewu. You see, there are some mistakes bia unipa oya. You may not relate it to Duabɔ. And some pennyforce bibi and koka papa and yichirede. You see, kane konya accident, somebody may say it was a mechanical fault. Now, if you didn't sudie, or how to me bahu at any point in time, Somebody's reckless driving may cause other people to die. So we ask ourselves, does God know everything? The answer is yes. And so if God knows everything and that kind of death is not meant for you, Bible will talk in Amos chapter number 3 verse 7 say, Ewurade Nyankopɔn enye bibi. Ono no makwan ma ohaw ba sasi so. Eti o makwan ma ohaw ma agise wadan na di akire ne nkoa adiifuo. Eti those who are not meant to die in this kind of that kind of death no. Nyame pe kwan bi so reveal ana otele na sankofo no weyi o mai dey efrim. Remember what the Bible said in the book of Psalm 34. Yanko check it. Psalm 34. I may have to refer because of question now ebayeno. Mimpese mede miami chirichirimu ebeba na akoye bibioho. Eti let's check Psalm 34. Sasie free verse number 19. Sasie free verse number 19. Psalm 34 verses 19, 20, 21. Namemfa 22 enka ho. Ose otini ni namani edoso. Accident beba, enkwensia beba, bibia ebeba. Nenso Awurade gye free ni nyinaa ti nkomo ni you. Na de okan edefo a asem ne so say ohwe ni nompe nyina so sɛdeɛ emu baako mpo emu bɔne ene bekum ɔbɔnefoɔ na wɔn a wɔtane ɔtenenini no ɛbɛbrim. Read the English. Baby ehia me verse 20 will say ohwe ni nompe nyina so na emu baako mpo anya dei emu. Read the English version.
Many are the afflictions of the righteous.
Many are the afflictions of the righteous.
But the Lord delivers him out of them all.
Delivers him out of them all.
He keeps all his bones.
He keeps all his bones.
Not one of his bones is broken.
But it is very clear. So there is something wrong with their death. But it is not up to me to investigate their death, because that was an untimely death. That was obviously Atɔfo. But then I want to make it very clear, say, it is not what we see that matters, but what we do not see.
Sure.
Me, Pastor Bernard, I may be holy and sanctimonious in the sight of everybody. Pastor Bernard, you good. But ebia obeba me private, me kuku where nobody will see, where only the God of the heaven will see. Na eniema meye wo me kuku no. Enchirese ewiase no menkoso ntinem. We don't know, we only know of Pastor Miles Muro in the public life.
Sure.
On the public life, when they are teachers, when they are motivational speakers, when they are that, we don't know about his private life. So me catch say if we are see it doesn't fail. The nature doesn't lie. That is not how God designed nature. Okay, it is important to understand. Say there are some people who may have sanctimonious life in the public, but in their private life, maybe are so terribly done and wrong. And that is why it's very important, say, in and out of your life, you need to be careful and check what you do. This is coming from Aisha Sisi. Did an individual have one particular element that could help him break through, or accept combination of all the four elements? Yes, you must work the elements because they are all five in you. You must work air, you must work earth, you must work water, you must work fire. But then the lesson will have to teach you, say, there is a major area where you lie. Sure. It's when you discover where you lie, then you work on it to make you break through. It is sometimes you may major in one, sometimes a better combination of all the four before you can break through. That is a lesson on its own. K said, Papa, please, can someone die accursed by the elements and still have salvation? Mamenka sembinchelo. Duabɔ. Ebechimie sign. Enyao na we are no, but because of how the world has been, the earth has been designed to operate, messengers of death will kick you away, and you can be saved. I will give you a typical example. Yenuya ba oda foma obade yaduma yawa de pepe no kurabe Atɔfo. Eye obi duabɔ any sign. Eye den na duabɔ ni sign no ensem bi a meka kire no ya so ne wenti. Science na meka kire no no enye nsem a eye boniti onipa ana eye boniti onyankopɔn. Na emo ye nsem anka ne nkwa na ye wo mu yi anka ebe preserve ne life no ama no. But you said the American what you say. Ba when tienti ama nem kwana yedei every nisa. That has nothing to do with the deeds ana onwan kasa na braba obeye dei obeboy ewo asasi we so. To answer your question correctly, yes, there are cases in which people may die untimely. Ana se obetumi ewu Atɔfo. And so now it will not affect the salvation. To every law, there is an exception. If the person is dying not on account of onuane boni, but because duabɔ memfa say, o maame ene koye adia enye, ene ye bo maame no ne menyi na edua, maame ne wu, amofra no nsu ebia de ewu, ansa na ye hu akiri. Why no ye boni na se opay? Why no ye didi no? Maame no. It is abofra ni deeds and any actions was as no, they were okay. Nemo no a sign na baby sign wa. And no dear, you cannot say because of the sin of the mother ninjino or no ni so no mesofa. In this lifetime na or no ne free muko, but ni so ni dear a contabono dear or no ankasadi ni nipe dear ding ye. Etike edi ubisaya in waya a wo a ho enono. I think it's so for Bianfa. Another way am I. Okay. Eti say Ekobani say all of these accidents, these issue a year fano, Yeko beach akwa kujare issue fano, yete kanumu anabotumu a case you so many occasions, yate say enkofobidi canoe anase boat a case you. Black voter, red voter, yellow voter, Anglophone voter, River Noah, around a front place, ni voter region, Timpoko no, na boat no, asama sorti, overturning, na inipa bibri, atutu zunomu, nina Atɔfo. And these are people the elements are evicting them, for a nemebia omaya, according to nature no, they don't deserve to stay here for a long time. As I say, omufrim na omoko. And a very important say in times like that, it's na me say wundi ubia obo uchidomoa. Now in the muyasi wems and sasa no spiritual father nothing. Now in the musa noa. A time will come your biological father will not be able to help you. You need somebody who is spiritually inclined to help you out. Now what you mean aye near maybe ewo asasi wiso. And this idea anka is say o ma o papa betina akunye mu ha na one ekasafa sani ma wehu. Iti ubia eti ne dwumam ebrofo. But your asem no emuda ho. Yes. Enti the American say sa Atɔfo wo ni nyina no. Ekuwie say adia ense say asasi wiso oye no waye edi etia the elements that make you live. Etino ombema onso every hanom ako. And this happens when somebody deliberately or consciously unipe biye na dwe say mesama we the other mean mesama wa mensuo ana mesama wa masase ana mesama wa menframa ana mesama wa ma ija na or the WEIJA, all these elements that work in you na omonso edi wasem yejitu ma ni yeyiwe free asasi so eden eko. Now before you leave, no, say Duabɔ says there are signs, and I'm going to take you through these signs. Number one, say Duabɔ beto so na messengers of death no ba one. You are not the type that normally reveals your life. If you are going to be very honest with you, empempi no. Yentinasi mum kompon kohe yechi ensisi enema boni ayade ya yekem. Onipa bi a utie me odie time din na ne make ndwen ho. But all of a sudden you begin on say consciously unintentionally no. It begins to dawn on you and niema waya enyankwa ejise onipa wote ho. Na eniyama waye twemwa enye no, you begin to have a review. You begin to recall them on daily basis. Opese uja nwa dwendwe na enso still no ano eniyama waye twem no ba na eba boni enye papa no boni ne nko a ba na eba eye one sign a udi be hu say messengers of death aben.
Okay.
I'm giving you the signs to know say death is very close, very close. And there is a review. You only focus on your past life. You don't think about the future. Oh, you need that thing. So oh beto ama wakwa akoyi akwa kusidan ama wabobra kwenim akoye sanema we. All the time your thoughts adria ekosu mu eye niema boni na waye ni nyina no, and you begin to sense or feel fear. Reflection, you are reviewing and niema waye boni etwam, and even if you want to stop it, it doesn't stop. Wakoda no oda won paso sa niema no nko na e recall it back. So who says sa na wo de wotia? Listen, it is a clear sign say Yamadujes a messengers of death no o mabem. It is an yamana o recall it bad things na wayenwa. Egusu eba back noa. Who pese uja nwa dede enso ba na eba no. Sa we obi a wutie mi na. Sasie say o rectify. Okay, enipa oyo boni in the past ni nyina no se ni nyina sase se e flash back to you. Mimni ewudie ni boni awdo wa nyina se ni nyina sase se e flash back to you. Now your badwema na wutie mi a, I'm telling you say it is a clear sign say messengers of death are close to you. And so if you will listen to me attentively, begin to rectify. Send your man out here, you know. Sabre won wa me patcho sasie say o ye corrections. Sasie. That is the first sign you begin to have. Say flashback, memories of what you have done terribly bad. In that period, no, and your papa why no, they don't come back to you. Because most often than not, and your papa why is it is the only thing that comes back to you as a review or flashes in your memory and in your head. Eye ni mabonia waye. Uhuni sasepe. Sasie say, o rectify wo errors. Sasie say, o correct wo mistakes. Say you nipa bi na oye ni sa hwehwe na kira kwakopa na chewo. Because you know what? People just say or invoke these elements against you by their utterances. We the other I mean so who one wabrabu we mua na nyamia. What is the okaino? Se who one no e wabrabu we mua and the name frame kweku. Hey, me and the way you sumia don't be me. Se wudi nchin bosomia. Yam frame and a frame ya, even though me di ekusuya. Duabɔ. Yes, Duabɔ. Eji what's one asa thoughts ninyina sa images sa memories ninyina ever back. You want to suppress them, but they keep coming. No, a sign that messengers of death are close to you. You must be very, very careful, Papa. But sometimes, if someone hears salvation messages, you can reflect on your past. See, I am not talking about you going to reflect on your past. When you say preaching, salvation message bar, okay, we unte salvation message bia. Only we are seeing now, Bobra. In fact, you are certain crown, but you don't really care about that salvation you're talking about. What do you say? And you na what's not in a message be about na wo dream in the past. So the kwako cereboni fache. And as asemia making no flashes of memories and your boni away in the past now coming back to you no. And yes, coming back to you for you to feel sorry. Coming back to you because messengers of death are around you, and they are telling you the reason why Uba be woo out of woo untimely death. Ye were free. We are seeing a yes, ani amawi. Etienye se nipa no krampo no okwa kunu no ho ana no onye na dwen kra se obesa chara na dwen dey free sane mabone no, but they still keep coming. If you see yourself in this situation, messengers of death are close. Say you are preparing to go and die an untimely death. Sadly, we happen and son at the eventual death and a fatality na happen. It is a car coincidence ebia next 2 weeks and next month. Oba binya. What you answer? What you wanna unye deliberate attempt biasa obedient ya mabonia wa no. Now dear nasa say den eba. And yes, what you preaching be. And yes, will be a two be. And yes, will be any kasa would be who. Then you start having those thoughts. Who is I say untimely death? You must take action.
Sure.
Asemna mekano. Okay. Then number 2, you will start having visitation of deceased family members or ancestors. Inipa omewu. You will recurrently, let's say brano. Ewia okoda ubehuom anadwo okoda ubehuom onamo asene wehu obi a wonim na wewu. That sort of visitation and that experience, it's not say untimely death atɔfo ebeu, messengers of death omabeu. If you see that way, it is another sign. Then there are visitations by angels and other spirits. No be akatose na wo wan na one kasa no. Me wo zo no obi kasa but obi anyira wo anyako anyenu anyesa a repeated action. See, the entities that are visiting you now amount for who say wo kasa but obi any hono a sign messengers of death are around you. Clear signs will be what of wo ben. It is a nim say oh baby wo. These are the clear signs. They just don't come. I told you said death is a process. This is how a woman will be untimely the atɔfo ni nyina no. These are some of the signs I will be because be kura na ye yare bi na wako yare no enko. Okay, and you also see these signs na meboboso no. So who's that signs here meboboso na? Take action because and in times like that, you will need somebody that can summon all the elements at one place and then revoke whatever has been done against you. It's a visitation by spirits and other entities. Kasa. And it's a recurring situation. That is another sign. And then we call something out of body experience. Now, out of body experience, say it here. Oti ho. Onai enye daye na osu. Now what say who say onenam. Out of body experience. Obia ofa sa signs wemu nyina no. Untimely death out of something has been invoked against you. You will soon exit this world. tie de make ni ade ne say onai oda na so da ya e different we de wani guso aya se wani kukom wo be hu se wo nipa no a wote ho no ana wo da ho ana wo twiri baabi ana wo kono na wo say yourself say enenam. Once you experience that your time is near, your time is very near, out of body experience, your time is very near. And yes, I will hear meditation be, and then yes, I will hear yoga practice be, and I will hear any form of spiritual exercise, a bema wa ye astral projection, and yes, I will hear bibisa, but you see yourself out of your body, and you are watching yourself with the body. Out of body experience, death is very close. You must be very careful. And then another sign you're going to see is say those people are ready to say their goodbyes. We see obi a name someone all kano ochiwisa say ochina mini wa ade we me de sie wa ha me password me say me wo scawo account ha but when we say line of talk no when we say nkomo no or say or chere that's the person is ready to say goodbye. It is only obi tifie only yarefo obi wo ho obi ben na ne nkobodiem owe waso yi a ubetumi ahu say owo ben no ana say owo nyaden amen no say di pane say or can the goodbyes why you ready it involuntarily or say or chere anka no a odi password e call Osama bin Laden krum atu ni phone so ube no asase say oh me password ni in case say me ni ho na bibi ni a ubetumi abie me will scawo bank we me we afei ne nkase mu no otumi kase baabi a ekeka ko die bibia betumi asi metumi afiri wiase mu ochena when the person is constantly giving you that kind of talk we say the person is ready to say the goodbyes ekire se nipa no owo ben no wasense ni soul ne hunu and so the communication is becoming involuntary. When I was speaking with Vivian's mother after we yenina yesu ya yedi areho na no and o ka kire me say I think say a day or 2 days before obi wuno o friend on ni di nkomo no the last statement that Vivian ka kire me say mami emane how baby aduni die bibia betumi asi iti eba ne sa odie emane how. That was the last time mama me ne ba no yeden ekasai. It was Wednesday, the Friday, and the Vivian we ready to say goodbyes. Once that line of conversation is accessible, it is a ye nanka mame no unim asemu ameke enanka ofrey and our can BBC kura cheremia anka at that time the messengers of death no we can revoke ibetumi apamo mu nyina afiri ho na whatever I cause ni wo ni so obeko no yasesa no ko benya nkwa. Unfortunately not many people know about this. It in chire ni bi wona ekem ana nsem ni bi wona entumi anka anchire atiasefo a yededa ho na your loved ones without any knowledge. It's when people are ready to say their goodbyes, a sign say uwu abeno, untimely death. Then again, you begin to hear voices in your ears. You begin to hear people call your name. You turn around and nobody is there. And you keep hearing the voices. Voices unfamiliar, voices familiar. Na utitudi ubia bodim pa. Over them as a yabebo kokoko ukubie dana ubie ni ho. All of this put together no. Hey, uwo atɔfo untimely death. And you're very close. Eti ensami ya mebobosui. If any of these signs you are going through, meka bibi di acherewo. Maweni na ho. You must take action now before it is too late. Ebio, there is this feeling. Oh, I say obi kan ho. Enye se usuro unsuro, but ufili se bibi ka ho ana obi ka ho. Ada se wuchi wo, ada se wonamo, ada se enye unsuro hwe, but you have this feeling say no, it is as if somebody your spirit guide and the catcher say something is near you. It is obia over these feelings, o sense say I say ubi kame ho, I say bibi ni minam, me feel say bibi kame ho, ana entity bi ni me ko, ana wone me banu. It is a clear sign, a very clear sign. Say uwo eben, and so you must be very, very careful, and then you can take action against that. So these are the signs. And no obibusa say if death is near you, what are some of the signs? These are some of the signs. When you say you are near death, or the messengers of death are close to you. Now, when all these signs are done with, the person is ready to leave. And so Edru ebe feli, empaibo ebe feli, because yariye biani ano edru. It is the first thing, if it is discovered, say Duabɔ ena ekun ana Atɔfo ebeu se odifo ne huyu subia oweni na echiro say ayimeba uwo beun nkwensie uwo beun bibi sa ebeu untimely de beun. The first thing you need to do is to consult a spiritualist. Se meka spiritualist emfa wadwen ko kwakubo nsamo. Debbie, that's not the spiritualist I'm talking about. I'm just referring to ubia unim humasem. Ubia ubetumi achirechiro sa ensem we naniso. Now award the ability to convene all the 5 elements at one spot. Now, after declaring to you, because send pana or yes spiritualist or yes spiritually inclined, make kind of sane in the well. Send pana or yes spiritually inclined, the first thing obebo amu eye amano de akose this experience and the akwakofa sa uwu na den. About nienti a obabe wu Atɔfo no. The first thing obema wehunu no. It's your mawu where you've gone wronger. Then you begin to rectify the situation. The rectification no, as I said, nipa na obuwa no. Oba be take you through the process. Sometimes so you go through some cleansing processes, okay? Na afesu sometimes eso lead you to obi a woye ne bone a o invoke side Duabɔ against you. All right. Me pese what you say. Anything of this sort, never go to the fetish place. Enkobosum so, enkonsuo so nkoda ne nya hwe. Menko baby a tie de America no me be kire ne obeye. Men ko baabia se me kwa akodane Duabɔ no yese ye Duabɔ se me yare yese ntoko na me kokko ye no a me didi sister na tem no ene wa kwa akobo me dua ewo nsuom se wa akobo dua wo nsuom a de esesa wo ye se nipa ne beboa mo hu nipa ko a obo dua no ebia obema wa kai wadwene onipa bi a wa fom no, because event na ekofa Duabɔ ne bae no definitely obemo are very much aware of event na kofa baye. Ebia akoko ntokwa, ebia akoji obi kunu, ebia wako obi boy ho, ebia wako wiade ena nipa na bodua, ebia wako akoko obi ho asem na dwuma bono ena nipa na bodua. Ade ebia wo ye ma Duabɔ ne baye no, ne kofa baye no, sa spiritual person na nipa na all consulting no mostly must be a spiritual father.
Sure.
If it's not a spiritual father, because every spiritual father be an so nim susuma sem Spirit engineer friend is spiritual father, no spiritual father bia so ni mu hu asem ensem ya me no obobosu say you very clear to say nipa no. The person must never be confused about these matters. So unya clarity on these matters. Echidano me can say not all pastors are spiritual fathers, because we have shepherds, local shepherds, who feed the flock with the word of God. But when you're talking about a spiritual father, you have this relationship with him, you have this bond with him, he knows you, you know him, or you're very much aware of what goes in and out of your life spiritually. They make us say what you say. It is an so ever mommy. It is any power ever locate where the problem is coming from, and then he will take you through the process of rectification. Okay. Sometimes you also have to do restitution. So buana ebia ofum nipa no baako a oye ni miyenu ya den emano na nakoma eto ne yem ansa na waba be revoke case ne de den e de amount. If you are unfortunate not to have a man of God or any spiritual person there, enana uwa na obeden ubewu na nampedu to nyumbi or say a jankaba unya samoa wine a beken be amount. Ichi uwu wiasi wemwa anwa aya now the wine day ejija said the maker what you see. Me be wiasi ma menya spiritual father bia men me assemble mean to mean koninche say eja but you say ni say na ekosu na ede na menye manya ntie said the me fam no Duabɔ obi na aye me saa ede na menya say nipa bi nti no me sonson me ho ehwe me hu suye na me da me nyankopon. Eventually, by the grace of God, were making me capable, say it be able to me adan me, because at the end of the day, I have taken my time to study. I still humble myself to study whenever the time comes. You know, addition is very important, and I also open myself to people to be able to ask me the questions, and I will simply provide the answers when I have them. If I don't have the answers, I will seek, I will learn, I will research. When I have it, I give it. Simple life. Once I've been put in leadership, he has also made me able to deal with issues of this nature. Because and that is when you disobey or you flout simple instructions. Nipana spiritually also no edema. Would disrespect no when any instruction oba de ya we efra nani ewo what is happening obe hu akire no na aye too late na de entimpa nyame ma no hu akire sane be ya on blame ne ho for what has happened obe man a perfect understanding of what has happened. Iti only openi nam and only spiritual father nam no kasa kire wa me pa che oti eye wa wo yedi ene wumpuntu munti na one wo e kasa sa. Once where the problem is coming from, no, afei na obe boao ama wa reverse the situation. There are two main things I'm going to deal with. Of all the signs, no, baku are very dangerous. I know the how to go about it. Se obi ewu atɔfo ana obi mpo ewu natural death. Na usa se unhu nipa no odayem frequently a me pacho a sign say they are calling you to join them. Obeba no oni ni di nkomo oni ni didi oba wo nchen no okọ na wonsu tudi nachi ose obra na waye na wa atu obi na wawu no ni so no ye earthbound na waye embrace no awa atu me pacho. You must be careful. It may take 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 1 year, but your life is short. Those series of dreams and our visitation, they are not ordinary. These are earth-bound souls and are air visiting. And once they visit you like that, Atɔfo and a wobabi, it is obi da ayarem paso. No, such say uhu ewufua. Woman free fear a clear sign ubewu. Messengers of death will orchestrate this. Somebody has invoked things against you, and you're gonna go. Once you still have the breath of air in you, You have the fire in you. You have the ether in you. Your body is still there. The earth is there. And the water is still in you. You can assemble all the elements and stop that exit from happening.
Okay.
Eti owo bebre wo ha ye betumi esi ano kwan ewa ha just say you don't have the right people to do it for you. Eti owo ni bi wo ha ya na nyame nsa anim the organization the nyame asese no ha no and they take place. Eti ade na ya asese no ha no ahaya se wonim ahan sese no a wo betumi a stop no ama na ye but you asem na make an muda ho John Kennedy, Nico Atigri, man of God, be my spiritual father. Ken, number one, this is the first time I'm seeing the ID on the on the feed. All right, it's you know before you become a son or a child of mine, there has to be a relationship. I need to know you. There are processes. You don't just have a spiritual father out of the blue. You need to establish a personal relationship with that person. Send your beya. Obetumi ready vibes. I mean, obetumi ready. When I say ready, obetumi a sense of spirit and our feeling. There has to be a Bluetooth connection.
Sure.
And sana abaso. So if there's anything of that sort, well, we can talk later after the transmission. I think the number is 0244765050. We can talk after the transmission. Na yedi sa enkomono edi free honum. Thank you, and I believe that you will be a good son eventually if that happens. Once those visitations keep coming, we need to work on it. Baby, I do me be a quiet at the amount question. Simbisa Fabra, because and then in Pese, ye be ko a chirisa and no yet. Fortunately, across it 2 hours. I'm going to work on the two things. First one, munya the dreams, visitation of deceased family members or ancestors, or more visiting modayim, and you do all sort of things with them. You need to stop it from happening. And so I'm going to show you how to get it for Winnie Mommy. Winnie Dahono Mommy. How to do it. You can get a piece of paper and a pen down, and then the amateur no, I'm showing you because I must die empty. Say a brand sooner be free as I see so aqua. As I say, the minim ana unyankopon abua ama mehunu no wiase nyina mu no. Ese sane mani nyina no. Mechewo ansana mewie medwuma e wasasi so. Eti question bia maya, I'm proceeding to the direction. Bebacho adia mikrei eyejeni. Eyejeni. Yes, onion. Hweni eyejeni. Ebetumi enya white. Ubetumi enya your friend is saying ready, but it must be this type of onion. Eyejeni. Because you need to stop that visitation. All those kinds of dreams. You need to stop it. Okay? Say nipa na ofri mu no. Most of them are not. Mumu bi wo hwa. It is your hobby say afie bia no. Ode your friend is saying wreath sa flowers na ye de to tumbusu no grapes no. Mumu bi wo you have that practice. Mamenka si minchira. Oh yes, na enye bi ujai. Oh yes, you are connecting yourself with a departed soul. The Bible say, "Me enra me chira mo say yesie emunua." All right, say yesie emunua. The soul most often than not. So we are mottering ni abrabo onko obeye earth mound. Eti or wabeye earth bound no or baby and the body near the edano. Kopim say body ni beda ni dotie no onko baby a. Eti many of them become earthbound. Now, when your dad cut flowers, was your fibia, me quack or dome mamma naso, me quack who sees in the tomb no so, me quack or ye a flowers, wreath air quack buso. Why are you doing that? What is the relevance? Ye. Eya mo se monya bibi papa bi na mo ye wo. Mo hwe movie no a film sa na jimuti aboso. Ave mo sori anopa na mo koye de mo hwe di film mu ni mu no. Side na mo ye no, you are just bringing, problems upon yourself. Nipa no just say wa finish here for you. What's all this? Anyway, so say open say o stop it, all those disease your friend is saying members no mewu wadam for family friend then open so stop you munyina. That sort of dreams, their visitation, if you want to stop it, you will need an onion like this. Jenny say, and I'll be here. Yes, Jenny, you're going to need onion. Baku say. Now, when the sun goes to set and there is darkness, isumba. Sa Jenny way, you're going to put yourself into a moment of prayer. And you do this between the dark time, the dark hours. And you know the dark hours. Yeah. The dark hours, between the hours of 12 and 3 a.m. And the dark hours. Iti misremo atɔfo no emakwa muntie ni. Obefa sa jene wi. All right. And then just as a believer will pray, the Biamekachre will say, you must know exactly what to do.
Sure.
And the prayer to say. So prayer, direction. Prayer, direction. Direction in Maya, prayer no obonokwa. Isan say, Yaribia ne anwedru. Untumi mfa wimpon edru enkosananda. For the visitation of deceased people in your dreams, you see them, your uncles, your grandfathers, even Methuselah, you see him in your dream. This is what you're going to do. Take the onion, Bakusei. Now, in the middle of the night, at 12 a.m. to 3 a.m. no, in between no, afeo beye sa empire bono. Every spirit be a connect me, foul spirit, disease spirit, departed souls. Akra ewe free. Awa unya meye no. Obon pa ni nyina now they will more eye dey. Hwane ho. Okay. Emfa knife enye dey enye. Now they onsa no hwane. Ni nyina now bompa ye. Wasi se empetuwo enkwansiewuo Atɔfo wo bia ede ama me o twe me kra o frefre me se memra me nkrechi wo bra ebrenso ye no ni nyina na o ye den hwane ni nyina na o ye den hwane o bompa ye ni nyina na o hwane etu be hwane a kosi se ne ho ni nyina be den na eba beto aduane no eti make sure say jene na obefa no ne ho ne ye den ewo ho ni nyina na o hwane obe hwane akosi se ni hu ni nyina be den ebe free ho na ato aduane no se ni hu ni nyina e free hu wie se pe then by then no na empire sese obo ni nyina no wabo ni nyina ye den ewie good afi enunie waba benya jene raw jene no after say wenya raw jene na wie no afi na obefa knife Oba be change nim 4 pepepe. Eti ubetwa ni sei 4 tie nie pa once me twa no ya benya wei right na wasamba betwam eti ubetwam at the center na waba benya the 4 corners. Okay. The catcher said the racing be a way to revoke messengers of death no as I say it take this format. So yeah, I say take it say okay say what draw say kobenya junction it near that middle no ebe the junction the point of intersection okay it is say utwam 4 pepepe na ma 4 square say eye asase no ne mfatro den and 9 eye asase ne mfatro 9 okay it will be benya bibi ti say 4 say it after the first phase of the prayer no which move for we say now the jene na ato nsem say tie de meka no afei obepie every roof ase say unya access to the environment, the totality of the universe say unya access. All right. It's here be abetumi aba begina o balcony and now betumi aba begina o corridor and now betumi sie pie abonten. Said the skies will be your roof. All right. And then you will stand on the earth. Now the jene no ato say. Now you are going to say the last phase of your prayers. One more oma free at as for so akra ewu all the departed souls no. Edoimo me samaimo said you will not visit me again. Mama maintain me daimu bio. You won't have access to me. Me blockade every access of me to you. Onipa biya odi me image akojire baby na all frame me so na all twe me kra every me muno and me stopping no in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ. It's when you offer that prayer jene ne down sem say no. Eye niema mienu o dan a o dem no. O de baako bia akoto a corner. Okay? Okay. It we baako now they are to the corner. Sure. We baako now they are to corner. Every room must have 4 corners. Sure. And now say a wow compound or plotter. The 4 corners of your compound, you know. O de baako to say baako beda corner say na baako it's the 4 corners. Now o they are inclusive. Because at the center of the square a junction at the center of it a honum na all covenants emiti. Okay. A honum na all the realms of the spirit emiti. You put it at the corners of your bedroom or your sitting room or ufie no awuchim no senye wa ufie dia it must be your room. On the other hand, if it is a particular person wewu abusuanim and all the time you keep seeing in your dream one. On the other hand, the obetumi ani say oye sampa eboni wiya. Obetumi keepu jene no. Then you walk to the cemetery if indeed you know baby you see no. Then baby ne tomb no one and the graveyard no. The 4 corners one say ye 6 feet na obenya 4 corners. What they are to the 4 corners. Na weja ho. That is the end. So no will never visit you again. The spirit will never come close to you again. And then say Atɔfo and whatever it is, all the messengers of death by doing this away. You've come back to life. Konasa kudin kwasa sembiu. Ati ase. Konasa kudin kwasa sembiu. This is the first direction you need to do. It is the onion. Open a recap and one say you repeat the tip. Now what you mean? Enya the old question obi to me ebusa. Now for yemra revoking Duabɔ. Duabɔ duya enyawo. Wefuwa se onase atatai. Odifo na kachiro se eye boni bi a odidi nipa sumesi enu abodu ya afi ese Duabɔ ne ye dane no odifo se Duabɔ o de don't worry wakachiro WEIJA no ho brefie me be kiro ne obeye na wadane dua no eti de medi kan eche direction o question fabra question bi ni ho de a ene na me ba be kiro how to revoke Duabɔ bia say eye bosom ne de koye say ye nsuo ne de ma no say ye ija ene de o ma no say ye emframa whatever ye de abodua ye ba be hwe kwan a ye befa so a ye be sisan fa body aban no emame fa body aban no emame eno a me kire mo say you going to need your friend is saying tender stone. Na we ye body ahaban. We ye body ahaban. se wo pese wo dani dua no a me ba be kire wade ai eti when waso ne tie me din na de me pese me ka kire oni so ni mi say wo utie me yabo dua me nyanwa esese upe obi a ni mudu na ode woko ekoye sa direction no senso wa kokuduru na inya to the point say o ahodi a obetumi di akoya koye but my main kanchiro say esumasem na meba be kire no na de na meba be kire no the moment you begin to make the preparation towards the revocation say wo ba be revoke wo ba be dani duabo no ahonhom nyina betwa ho sia. Inti there are times a womo a eko dani dua no ontumi nwi na wotwa hwe ne wewu ti de meka no iti wonim say omunyedu na because esumasem mysteries na ewomu no edoso. The best thing for you to do ni say ubusuani kuno fa ne bremi oya sorry ba fa ne bremi onya sorry ba me pachoko sofo ho fa me tape yi de me chiro yi ema no na so sofo ni mudu a onkoye ma ho no nje umfiri duabo ni mu enko komfo no ho enko nsuo no so enkwa nto enya ma se okoda ni duabo obese wu aka ho. If the messengers of death, no, once you have been summoned to leave this earth, the elements, you know, they are kicking you out. It, you know, oko kodane no ho said day, you will die eventually. Tia samna mekano. Besides, osa ko hokrampo na ose okwa kodane no. Once I don't walk to abusunsumu, that is a sin against God. It you will not even be saved. Your soul cannot be saved. Nyankopon na ye ni wiase ena akade a ye de ye niema yi e de sai niema no odi asisi mu haban ye de saade ye de ya de yi entroya ya ye di ye garden x ya ye di sa garden x no won say ye di ne seed no ne fruit na e was no ne vegetable ye di the same garden x no ma ye ntum free from na ne hi no enka wano only 2 minutes ubewu eye very poisonous within 2 minutes to sa garden es ni hinu never ubewu eye poison as well say na dua na yedi obe konso na sa de na eye poison ma no eye obi nso aduane abo bi aduane oye de odia ema na hoden nyame ya aye ni wiase in such a mysterious way. So the world or this earth is full of mysteries. If you are not strong enough to handle the mysteries of this life, that is why it is important to have people who are backing you spiritually. Yay. Asamna make an audience here. Very good. Angie, let me take you through the process. Remember, say you are going to bring all the 5 elements at one spot. So you are going to bring all the 5 elements at one spot. One spot, you know, the junction, ebeye adie we in finfin, and ebeye dancing. Okay, me pato follow the direction carefully. Number 1, you are going to need sea water. Baby suwe nyina ekuwi. You are going to require seawater. Epunsio no yewo ejuma bibra yedeye. Yewo ejuma bibra yedeye. You're going to need epunsio. Epunsio no you're going to need a bucket full. Bucket na be use so enye rubber bucket awato no fufuru bi enyusu da. Na mechire wie na wo free mu fi na wo to wo fu no twetwe wo yefo na ahye ni nyina ne ya ha nyina ejaya sankodi nkwasesem ni mudu ya why na Christopher asema mobo atofu na doso diabo no a ekum nipa na doso. So I have it a duty to show you the way to work on it. It's say more different places. Many of you are far away. But say body have by now who be here no be wo baby awodia. Let's just say o kan ho na oba baby obenya body have by. Na ye dani dua no e de man. Entisa you go die way well the tree way. First, you need a bucket of seawater. I am very emphatic. Seawater. Mankase kosa insu nefa nchingum. No matter how you fetch water, wouldn't no. The taste will never be compared to seawater. When Yankopon fa so mixing chin wunsu no more, it me a salty sano. Only God knows. When you choose Yankopon. You will need a bucket of seawater. Aisha says, Papa, my question, based on yesterday's lesson, sometimes family members stand beside the disease lying in stage and take pictures. Every day. When you phone could picture. And I say, Ucha, if you no picture. Now they are to social media, say, Yenny day. Well, as I sit here now, I haven't seen any spiritual connection taking pictures of a dead body, but say one dead body in the picture. And on the yasem. But say the phone a picture. I don't see any spiritual connection. Say Abia anadri and maybe sorry and mehu bibisa and no. But as I sit here in my experience and in my knowledge in it, I haven't seen anything of that sort. Why, Aisha? Thank you. So you're going to need seawater for this direction. A bucket full. Bucket nenye rubber bucket what ton of fufra ubie nyusuda. Okay. Afi seawater no se unim epoa ma memfa eponjero. Say na epotie. Aha. Whether and it obviously must be a blue sea, because I know that mostly we have around. It must be a salty sea. Eti eponsion eponeda hono kesiesa no needs you be. You need a bucket. Eti you can travel to a place where ubenya eponsion be. Na o de gallon akwakosa. Oba ye area mu ha baby a ye tie ya. Aye WEIJA junction kokoro bite beye epono beye heya obetumi akọ sebi. I mean say I don't think say anyway mo man no say airport there you can locate airport ewo baby a mobile. But if you don't have apple, na yabu duawa bruchira, brefi, nebe dani duabono, onwoto wakotoa wa braboso, and only the meeting yakachiro. You are going to need seawater, a bucket of it, a fresh bucket. Into ube to me de gallon, kesie akwa kosa, na odi befi ya wababi shi ediegu bucket fufrona watunim. Okay. Now, afe odi nsuo no eponsuo no gu bucket ni mu a okae adiewe tender stone no sa okae ai bema no na obe yisu bema no so obe yisu bema no ye tuntum okay bema no ye tuntum mamenyi we na wo ni sa no we no the down screen is no your bar. There is a grey white bisano and no your bar. I think say enra okay me who could be UK for platform this. Mami inkuyi yes mami kunedu edi we betu UK for platform this. Meba, Mamimfa sa image no so meto ayi bema no meto ema oni hu. I need to work on this. Just a moment, please. About me pese mi black one bema no edechere munamu huseni isiti. Okay, let's get this going. PP. But your mom would in radio so dear mechreno. Mubi to me, but I don't think say mubinya is so fast dear because you have to definitely come to YouTube and our Facebook. Okay. Eti beemanu ni tuntumuno. Ene ye beemanu. Eti you will need the black one and not the your friend is saying. The Obano, we now be here. The dark screen tuntumuno. Ena be here. Nti wokwa ose wope. A tender stone, a ye a kumano, or soldier, and a ye a grade jar, market you be simply a grade jar, a kumanoa ifrimubano. You need that one, the black one, which is the male. Which is a bucket of seawater, no fresh bucket fufru bien yari muda, a fufra water. Now with the seawater no egum, all right. Then now the tender stone na day atum. All the tender stone need to Maria. Afi, you're going to need a dewi body habai. You're going to need body habai. And on the wall screen is no. And on the wall screen is no. Ube here body na habai. Pa and on the wall screen is no. Body habai no ube here me no. Ube here me no. Ti said ye. Bikura wahano. Ena body haba ni se wucha won ne nsano a ba menyi we ni frio beba wucha body haba na won se na efri dua ne so no ede ba body na haba no e wo stock bi ese wucha na ne nsano e wo hosei enti mienu sei ena wo bi hia body haba mienu sei ena wo bi hia. In order to revoke Duabɔ, will be here somebody to assist you. And that somebody must be ubia or yes spiritually weighty. Ubia ni mudu. And this idea, I just say, Oba anamon eba mehonom na erade fami so edanenu edemam. Then so say wow ni webusu afo bi tumi aya. Me kire momon koye na momfa na ni Duabɔ no. No acquaintancem, no secretary, no nothing. Said the American what you say. Very good. It will be here, but they have by me, no say. Now, all Babe call for Junction. Yes. Time I will be this Juma we anajo, still between 12 and 3 a.m. You're going to need a 4 junction. 4 junction, baby, a quine me no bedding. Ebisia. Baby, a quine me no bedding. Ebisia, Nimfimfi, and a year 4 junction. Iti yinkras will be nebi, as a cell look at baby, and because in the middle of the night, you know, junctions, you know, ayana. Inipa enamo bibrisa janse nankasa so no anwea aya igu ho no ewo de ubetumi dia ye bibri ewusunsumu eno so ebrebe mu a mekyerechire eti you need a 4 junction obi bebusa say adenti na you need a 4 junction pastor ni o kekende na say Yesu Kristo abewu ubo Yesu din a okay kona kobo Yesu din why me de Yesu ni minim no eti kobo Yesu na waye ni wiase no adenti na asofo na bobo Yesu din wo Mususa Sudia Ebomunina Wuana Mu Adindia. Do you think say Jesus will bypass the protocols or no install it in place in this world?
No.
Agrobi na moaya moody. So you will need a 4 junction. Send your 4 junction etienu udruwa. The first thing they say, Bodia by me no. Obe cross on the chese 4 junction pepe nana masorina isumu ona mefa enchre. Kuremusa. Send ye 4 junction etienu. Sana obe crosse ahaban no yedin. Ahaban ni mienu ewo ho. Bebacho said ye mechire no mahu. Send ye 4 junction etienu. Ye pijam sei. Sana obe crosse ahaban no sei. Na wanya 4 junction no echi 4 junction ni mfifi pepepe. Na wa crosse ahaban ni su sei. Bako ewo soro bako wo fom. Na wanya the same thing. Now they are 4 junction no in fifi pepe. Okay, for body ahaban egu ho. Now, what they ahaban no across say aye 4 junction ni say na ahaban no edabo say no. What the nsuo no eba be si ahaban no so. Na wu nipa na yabo odua no wagina ahaban ni mfimfim. The point of intercession baby across no. Eti sawobesha well say may the white markings be I marking the 4 and eti the middle point you know. Ehonom na ubegina wo ayabodia ubegina wo ahaban ni so. Sawobeka ya ebra mechire body na koma say yabodia na person reverse ya na koma ebiewu. This one dey the elements ena we free iwiase wim. So you need to bring all the elements back together. Okay? No more be meaty at where a covenant must be made. Every covenant biano, it happens at a 4 junction where the peripheral, the earth peripheral and spiritual realm they meet. As I see, so they meet there. Spiritually too, they meet there.
Sure.
It's in a 4 junction, very, very important, very powerful. It is only more me catch them. Ahaban no ubegina the intercession baby a woka aban no to so o de cross to see we are no egina the finfin na o de epunsuo na e wo bucket ni mu no egsi ahaban ni nchen baby aida se wo anase nipa no a order ni duabɔ no ene beye sade wi eti wo a yabo odua ne de ugina ahaban ni finfin na ensuo no a epunsuo na ekumano eye tender stone no edemu no. Obeyi, one thing you must put in mind. You're going to be fully naked. Yes. Obeso ode uhusi ukata o privacy. Kawanku wi obi ade ma ya modua. Obeso ode wakusi kuma ezi. Obeso ode hide wo. It's right there in the middle of the night. You are going to revoke Duabɔ. Until you have to be fully naked. So yeah, it must not be on a full moon night. And I do a busumi na pie around to send your wound was screen is on my batman koye. Ubi woo. It must be a dark night. And it says, your friend is Osramono, a provider or light. It you must choose the night carefully. And away no, anytime because we are body, and said, that's it, there be any day be the only condition is say it must not be on a full moon night. It is always say, Bosomeno, are you fool? Don't go and do it. Don't go and do it. Don't do it. You will be fully naked. Na afe ensuonwa epunsuona ekumane demuno. Ye ba be sisa e de egu nipa na yabo ni dua no ho. Yes senya no. na ye reverse it, na ye recite the prayer. And they saying, ye viensu gunu wa, insuya ye de oma no, ye reverse no, ye dane no, asase ye sama oma no, ye dane no, ija ye de oma no, ye dane no, baby ye de okra na koma ye twa wonkwana so, ye dane no, duabo bia ye dane no, ube viensu ne friniti, edi ababisi ni nase, oyo ba, weave on no touching baby, wig no yitu baby. We will need your natural hair. Don't do any spiritual direction with your artificial hair. Sadiana makachira mwachim se munkipu mo natural hair emano. Odi munchi na mumfanyasem. So you are going to be pouring the water. Ubishie insuno ediagu fabaketinu fadia esisa. Okay? Fadia esisa ni fa insuno gu nipa ne so. Insio bia ye de abodua ye dane no. Baby ya diwa kuja bia bosum bia diwa man ye dane no. Asasi bia de abodua ye dane no. Duabo bia eje oka na fi nsam ye dane no. Insio no gu nipa na yabo ni dua no so ewa haban ni so. All right. All this while no na your friend is saying ekuma no ye tender so na edem eti insio ni nyina esewia. You are not going to dry yourself. Enchina in the middle of the night, and that fall junction no. At that point, kai say every power or every force or ye behind the abone Atɔfo nyina no, they are all going to hover around. They say they're going to come around. It is sometimes ubetumi afili say time a oye direction no na emframa strange wind a boogie. A very ominous night. Enchina me say se wunyini humu a ma obi a oye spiritually inclined enye enane ne mam. But you said they make what they say. Those frama fa because when bear testimony say at the end of my jatum somebody is revoking it. Obi den dane no. Obi dane ade no. It's massive when ube say ebo. All of a sudden, Ube said there are some entities, movement around. It is all you be or you who me pacha men could di bonin ya mudia. Unim na ujanija diano a two things. Others will be traveling wa and that's how we go mad. Don't joke with spiritual matters. Tina mekatil me say we are seno and now kwa. We are seno and now kwa. So when slow bibia unche we are si wim. Tia semna mekachiro ni. Eti ya hwienso nugu muswa na esa ya revoke cases ni nyina no de ebekoso wo no environment nyina don't mind obi a onim huhuma asem no a ni modu de onim ni oye eti wo peso wudwane a wo de wudwane firi haban ne so na hu ne ebeto wo said the maker what you see you must complete the direction. It is ensuo no egu hu wi a on pepa wo ho on dry wo ho. Then you can go and put on your clothes. It will be Saturday and Nantiaco. Udruwa noa habaina ye ready no. Where you won't add any na wejina win so. Make sure say enye full moon. If we are a bosomino enye ma. If it's a full moon, don't do it. It must be a complete dark period. Then if you so no ed dani diaboni na bompa any wia. Where's ye free habaina so. Na wase watade ensuo no bewo wo ho omfata wo bi anye den empepa ensuo ni nyina ebewo wo ho then bucket foforo no a tender stone no demu no na tender stone no odi ato ba bi a wugina ye no now the bucket no ebutu so afi you are going to walk away without looking back ubeja bucket no ade bechi na bucket ni tender stone no wa obi betumi abachene enframa betumi wu akọ ayi ebeti haban no betete whatever will happen to you you don't care fa sa bucket ni tender stone o de two baby original now the bucket na dey ebutu so na we jeni haban ho sa you will leave the scene without looking back. Please ade direction bia ne na kwan. Say ya me na me ya minim ne me ye esa se me chira wo na mo ankasa mo ye no wo mo me ai me nti esa se me chira mo exactly the pros the demands the sese wunu Eti ufudi wa, don't look back till you get to your home. Se wafua shew, se onasi atata you, se wuntumi nidi you. Whatever it is, wafuna share no, eniyeme gu wafunu mina, anatunwa, obesasia fini nyinara, afi uwia, ubeusa ubetwetwe. That night noa, bibia bedani. Sadia na koye no, all the 5 elements ababisi yawo. That is why you need a 4 junction to do it. Afi ofefe niema ni nyina free umua. Then by the grace of God, you know, why revoke, why you free. Bibie ni wa ewechiri, come de wakope eduani bi nidi. Next time, ubi yirea, fano. Next time, ubi ade dawa, wia. Next time, di ubi ngonsa. Next time, obehe wabrabosu yi. Na se wunnim, na after sa same way make woko dingwa sasem ne bodua wo de ka se na se we de papa chire duabɔ revocation iti meye you will see this is a one time thing you will do in your life. We don't repeat it. Ye twice in a lifetime. Ye once in a lifetime. It once you use your slot where we just one card. Ti ye so papa chire we obuwa ye once in a lifetime. Ubia a once in a lifetime. Me se bomidua a once in a lifetime. Besa kodim kwasa sem ne bomidua biwa mewu. The American not here. Yo. Okay. Echi direction no enuni. Now bia enye wo na oye ade no. Ena yebodua na emu dua no. Eye obi ne yebɔ no na aba be sound. Ye said the maker what you say. Eye obi ne yebɔ no na aba be dey. Ena si duabɔ no boy ende kum if you for no. All of you must go through the ritual. But you said the maker what you say. If you're for near boom dia munyina, you go through that process. Now what you me every mwafi. Now yabodu yano nipa ne wu esese ye dane no ansa ne yakwa akosi anajo ade bechi ansa ne yakwa akosi saa emu no esese se owukunu a nikunu owanuafo a enuafo no that one bucket no wo mu nyina sa haban ba akona so na obi abeden ebegina sa one bucket of isuo no eno na yebesa ade egu obi a se ebeso omu nyina de yense egu hu na eden asena fa hu nyina abafom echi the entire family no will have to go through this process in the middle of the night and sana animu atete amaya kofa body na yeden akwa akosi because all of you are at risk. Someone yes had ye we namudi emunu kwese from no we say a yeduaba asema making obe kaime asu anase obe kaime asri modi enema bi wa modi di agro se nipa no a wawu no atofo se yeduaba okay when we say Vivian de no papa no di kan ne kotena ye no ni duabo ena ekano ne yere eku ono ankasa the same thing ena edi Vivian eko asodin kakra bi ameba ne ye menko no koi yakobia na shemu say the make what you see na sene ade ne tie no esan say eye papa no ne ma ena yesu omase asana papa no mu hu akire dane ne ma ne nji no sisi an ebeye eye Vivian no ne chiri ma ne nyina ebe se omase the last person dies the abona finish sisi an before we will bury the corpse on Thursday no Wednesday night we have to do the cleansing and the revocation esi ye dane no ansana ye de amunu akwa yeden akwa sefom yanyi sipe asemato yen asemaba eti ebusuafo duabɔ eho nsem no atɔfo no ahanum emena medeu ebesi wo question a busa na menyi ano ansana masori so
Soni amani hunui adiachio
Nesi obiara anymore, na say baby so. Ifenya kuponkwa alini.
adiachio ampa adiachio enyina na yadasorio ifenya kupongo adiachio mama ampa adiachio adiachio tina media mesi misumidachi misumidachi
Media misumeri.
Mama Yesu ya dachi wati Mama Yesu ya wiyo say baby
Misumeri.
Mama Yesu ya dachi wati Mama Yesu ya wiyo
Misumeri.
Ampa diachio Enyina na diachi ye Na say baby pa de Mama nyangu ponko adenim Ampa diachio Enyina na diachi ye say baby Mama nyangu ponko adenim Dadi unkwa na wuni mudia Medeme washa unso Mabura bonyina wa wansem Mikwa nyina ansu wa wansem Dadi unkwa na wuni mudia Medeme washa unso Aye mabura bonyina wa wansem Mikwa nyina ansu wa wansem Isese bewe pade Waneni mo se bewe Aradi unkwa na wuni.
All right, silence means concern. Echere say yinyina yehunu direction no na yate ase. Kai say duabɔ ne danie ne die no very very critical and crucial. It is a wonim say yabo busuani bi dua enya no de yare bi aba beto no so eku no hospitals my checks the system yi nyina efidie ntumi hu edro ntumi solve yare bia wo betry say wo solve free ho na after 21 days edro awo ye no still now no you don't see any improvement anymore na ekono me pacha bibi techiri. You need to go and work it out. That is when you're going to require people who are spiritually inclined. But make sure you go to the right source. Okay, when you say, enye baby na obitumi akose okwakoje ayarebo anase okwakope your friend is saying, emwa edi free, because there are some evil people around who equally have access to information. Original nanka ense say omo have. You must be mindful where you go. Enko konfo ho enko difu bia ho say okwa akosesa no okwa akodani duabɔ no omunya ka kiro say ese okɔ ayi your friend is saying konfo no chi krum na akodani duabɔ no ya swanto akrum kodani duabɔ no ko no bopu kodani duabɔ no ko your friend is saying kwawu be poso koda enko bebia kwaya e faso dani duabɔ no ne edisi atɔfo wo ho kwan no eno ena media kyerɛw no. Now me sorry so no yemfa ne say you have no idea say yabodua. Okay, you have no idea say yabodua, and I say atɔfo wo bi eben. All you need to do, if you think you are having any of the signs, just do the onion direction and only idea sesa oyeden oye send ye mechere wono safe no aba san wachi ne kotie tape ni bio na ye onion direction no oye we are eno ano it will be cut off. But if for any reason you believe say and now you've been told say ne yekoso wo abusuanim no eyedua ene yabomu ntina ebia saa awuwu ni si wo ana saa yare no aba besue abusua no ana saa oyini no abesue abusua no ekwan ne na machire mo no you get the sea water and then you a bucket of it, brand new bucket will be in muda. Now the thunderstone no black one or ye male one or den atum afei wobetwa body ahaban mienu wobekọ enkwantanan eye 4 junction wode body ahaban na cross mo a moye affected no obi enyina emfinfin se yebusua enaduabo baako di munya saa ayi ahaban mienu na so obi enyina so na onfa nsuo no eponsuo no bi nya dan enhohoro no ho follow through the process na afei munya mofa ahodi monano no emfiri ho se asembise bi ni hodia enana medidwumadi no esi ha obade ya domo a ochina yebetwa ye nkomo no so edi akọ bra okra no finally wetumi afiri asasi so no na wawura astral tunnel no mu apie no a visited the subtle realm no edi ebe important ena esi wo ho. How does judgment come about? Heaven and hell no enho asem no etisan obade ya dom na ochina ebeto yen na bibia ansankan manamoa yebeshia na yatoa saadisua ne so. But modern say obasi pe you like the transmission and you share as much as possible. Mo amutie no wo radio so no real FM no I think say it's so unfortunate say images ne infonina mi yi ni nyina no aye amuhunu. But you can still go to social media, Facebook Pathway to Heaven Church and now say YouTube Pathway to Heaven International Church na wakwa akutie enkomo a yedi no enenso obade ya we emu anoma mokokuduri namye sene ebeya abrabo ya yebu mobeti asense ewiase ne mu wem eniema bibiri eni ni diasi edise ya hwe ye husuyi amotene ne abrabo a eniema beko akyen onyankopon tutu manamo ensisi na mumududu a yabubu mudua na muwu afiri asasi so no ebra mutu na mo akwakoye akwankyere Erade mo ho ban no nyimu free sa Atɔfo wo no ensem na matumi asum ni yi e de apreda nkwa amamokra woni doba Yeshua de munti. Amen.
Amen.
Adiachi, Messi Opia Renimo, Nase Belinso, Idanya Kuponko Alini.
Adiachio, Ampa Adiachio, Enina Nayadasorio, Idanya Kuponko Alini. Adiachio, Mama, Ampa Adiachio, Adiachio, Zinamedia Messi. Misumidachi, yeah, Misumidachi.
Media Misumeria.
Mama Yesu ya dachi wati. Mama Yesu ya rio. Say baby, ah.
Misumeria.